Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another hobby hangout. How's everyone? Hope your week is going not too bad. Hope it's sort of not causing too much trouble for you this week. We're here kind of, what was it, hump day, they call it? Yeah, so hobby hangout tonight. We're getting a bit of painting on, bit of chilling, bit of banter, bit of chat. So let's have a look and see who we've got in the chat tonight, because it's been a bit lively during the day. Actually, there's been a few people popping in and out. I'll show you what I'm painting in a minute. I'm sure you guessed by the thumbnail, by the title screen, it's going to be part of my Kings of War slow grow army. I'm going to be painting my my dwarves tonight, but I'll show you what it is I'm painting in a bit. Peter Nicholas said, "Come on, guys, you know I'm the first here." I think somebody was here yesterday, Peter, but it only stays for so long and then it drops off. But nice to see you, Mr. Nicholas. Phil Wilkinson as well. John France has just donated £2 through Super Chat. Thank you very much, John France. Straight in there. I don't know if this was off last week, is it? Has it just suddenly caught up? I think either I'm making money hand over fist here. I think this is all last week's, just catching up randomly. It must be coming through. Apologies for this. Yeah. What on earth is going on? Technology. Let me turn the sound off for that a second, if I can. Let me do... Yeah, I think these are all of last week's chat. Anyway, let's get back onto it. Phil, this is those dwarves have got character. They have got character, mate. Mark says, "Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well." Steve saying, "Evening, all." Christian saying, "Have a good stream, everyone." Thank you. Scott says, "Evening from work." He's going to be pre-ordering Operation Colstrom at midnight. Yippa, nice one, mate. You've got Infinity coming out your pores now, mate. Krabby Vision's in as well, saying, "Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well." I think that's the end of all of those things catching up. And I can put them back on now, and then I know when anything comes in. Phil Wilkinson says, "Fresh kitchen roll and a glass of Blackthorn Reserve." Nice. I'm on like lemon and water tonight, basically, just soothe my throat, have a clean day, have a bit of exercise today, nice healthy eating, bit of a chill day today. I've actually been in the background, sort of during the day today. I've been working on some stuff for a future video. The plan is to get that video on Friday, if I manage to get it all done in time. So if not, it'll be next week's video. But yeah, at least I'm working on some extra bits of content, not just live streams. Where else are we at? Deep Red saying, "Dark Elf transfers have arrived. You'll be spending tonight's session applying them. Oh yeah, and hail and well met legacies." We've got the legend Terry Bass in as well. Good evening, Andy and everyone else. Hope you all had a great week. Been very good so far, mate. Thanks very much. Kieran saying, "Does brushes and brush soap count for the first bit tonight?" It always counts, my mate. I've always got to get my brush soap and get stuff cleaned up as well. Robert Zunk's in as well. Hello, Robert. Peter says he's just an observer tonight. Scott's making toilet rolls. Clara says, "Howdy, everyone. Just got his minis in from priming beforehand. His girlfriend had to hold his phone with a light so he could see." I hope you haven't got primer all over your phone, mate. Or your girlfriend, for that matter. Thomas S. Good evening, Thomas. He says, "Hi, Andy. Claudio told me I should join." Well, thank you very much, Claudio, and thank you very much for joining us. I have also just seen, I think it's about to ping up on the screen as well. I'll wait till it pings up on the screen. But it flashes up in big yellow writing across my screen, so... Thank you so much, Terry Bass. Really is appreciated. There it is. I knew it was coming. Just put my head above it. Thanks, Terry. Where else we had? Robert Zunk says he's basing some Warcry minis. Which ones are you basing, Robert? Thomas says he's going to assemble some minis. What are you working on? I'm assuming if you're friends with Claudio, there must be a bit of Dead Zone involved in there somewhere, or maybe he's a bit of Kings of War or something. Palmsy's saying he's finishing basing these Kings of War butchers. Nice models, mate. Del Bruv's in as well. He's got his Palanite Enforcers on. Scott's going to be painting some Infinity tomorrow and making some actual neon signs. Sounds interesting. Stu says evening all as well. Scott's waiting for it to put his order in at midnight. Palmsy's in as well. James Arm, good evening, James. Phil says 35 hours into painting Kairos Fate Weaver. I've still got bits to stick on and find. Wow. Busy doing some Black Zone stuff while he's out eating his pasta. Scott said he's now a $5 Patreon. He is, mate. Yeah, thank you very much, mate, for opening your pledge after Monday's stream. Very, very much appreciated. Speaking of $5 pledges, if you do pledge at $5 and above to my Patreon, you get access to the podcast. I've been having a conversation today with a certain someone about a future recording of podcast. I'm not going to announce it in case it doesn't happen, but he has agreed to it. We're just kind of sorting out some logistics of when we're going to record it. It'll obviously be over Skype because he doesn't live in the UK. So yeah, when that comes live, I can't wait to tell you about it. We've got Barry Kleiber in as well, Tony Howell. Busey saying, have I just done it again without realising? I think it just plays up. It plays funny buggers sometimes, and every now and again it just suddenly like catches up on stuff. It's because of how all the different stuff feeds into the software and stuff. So no, you've just been thanked the second time for the last time. Malkavian's in as well. Nice to see you, fella. Peter Nicholas is in. Yoakum's in. Nice to see you, Yoakum. He's going to paint the survivors from Walking Dead. Nice one. Thank you, Terry. That's where the donation come up there. Thank you very much. Steve's working on these Orc Skulk Outriders tonight, finishing basing these Burrs and Badgers West Highland Terriers. I didn't know you were painting any Burrs and Badgers, Steve. I'll be looking forward to seeing them, mate. Mark saying the end of the live stream was great, mate. Thank you, mate. For those that didn't see it, you'll see it tonight if you stay at the end. I've kind of changed the end of my videos now so that I can thank the Patreons properly, because it was getting to a point where a nice problem to have where there was too many to fit on the screen at one time. So yeah, it's a bit more pro now. John's saying, evening all, looking forward to seeing this Juggernaut. It's a great mini. I might as well pop over there now then. So I am painting the Kings of War Dwarf Steel Juggernaut. What I did very, very quickly before I came on tonight was I came like an overbrush, like a heavy dry brush of lead belcher, just so that basically if I miss any bits when I come to do the wash and stuff like that over it later, it kind of just sinks down into the recesses and stuff. But I'm going to be painting them up basically to the same colour scheme as my dwarfs. I've got my steel behemoth here, just as some kind of reference, some colours, so you can kind of see the colours I'm going for. Looks a little bit more greeny on, the screen actually, but yeah. So that's the style that I'll be going for, and I've just got that there in front of me, so I can kind of see which bits I've done silver, which bits I've done like the blues and stuff. So I might as well crack on and get the paints out while we're seeing who else is in as well. Tony saying, nice going, Terry Bass. It was nice going, thank you. Claudio saying, it's Semper. That's why then nice to see you, mate. I didn't realise that there was I didn't put two and two together with the name, fella. Where are we at? Yeah, I just wanted a brush to get some paint out the pot there. I got sidetracked. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. I know you've had a bit of a break and stuff, haven't you? It's nice to see you getting your groove back on again, getting the painting groove back on. So let's get a bit of paint onto my palette here. Getting all posh now because I'm on camera with you lot painting. I used to just paint from the lid before. Now I've actually got my homemade wet palette, to be fair. But yeah, now I actually do use it. I'm not finding it makes me paint any better. I'm an average painter at best. I've said that many times, but it does mean I've got a bit more control over my paint. Yeah, Thomas is going to be doing his Reaper Bones, Hydra and Dragon for his Twilight Kin. Bit of Kings of War on, mate, eh? Bit of Kings of War. Seems like Kings of War definitely seems to be kind of picking up the pace a little bit. I think since 3rd edition came out, it certainly seems to be hitting the spot. Excuse me. Robert Zung's got his Untamed Beasts and Chaotic Beasts. Nice, mate. Ty Beavis is in. He said he's drunk 3.5 pints. So who knows? He's been on the crabbies, mate. I saw that picture. It's been one of them days. You deserve every little sip of those drinks, mate, after the work you've been doing this week. I can only imagine how hot and sweaty it gets in a house of that heat. Tony's working on his Gobbo Wizard. James Zorn's finished up on his Zogbard Gits. Palmsy needs to slip into something a little bit more comfortable. It's for our date night, mate, innit? That's what it is. John France says, evening troops. BKM BBQ. Hello, checking in from work. Hope I get in after I get home and get on some Bone Reapers. I'll be just kind of plodding on, mate. So I'll be here for quite some time yet. We've got Luke Pryor in as well. Craig McCartney. Mr. Trainer Guy's in as well. Nice to see you. She was expecting a delivery of stuff but hasn't come today. My Mantic delivery went out, I think, today, so hopefully that'll be with me soon. Peter Max in as well. Paul said you should stick some bloopers in those end credits. I might do, mate, actually. Like when I'm recording proper videos, I've got plenty of kind of like errors of me, like just tripping over my words and doing the wrong thing. So yeah, I might start to put some of those in the end credits. Terry saying hopefully will help Andy get a few pins. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Right, I'm just going to dive in now. I'll let you. Glenn saying, what are you painting tonight, Andy? So I've got this, mate. It is a steel behemoth. No, it's not a steel behemoth. It's a steel juggernaut for. It's usable in both Kings of War and in Vanguard as well. So I'm going to be painting that this evening. Just very quickly, just make sure my phone's on silent here. Yes, it is. Cool. Right, so I'll crack on and we'll see what you lot are up to as well. So how has your week been, folks? I hope everything's not too bad. I was saying to the guys in my Patreon yesterday, I found out yesterday my sister's has got coronavirus. And while it's nothing too serious for her, I don't think she's relatively fit and well. She seems to have very mild symptoms. She's a bit tired and a bit up and down at the minute. But she works in a supermarket. She's like a supermarket manager. So the amount of people that she's having to come into contact on a daily basis, I'm honestly not surprised, to be fair. But it just felt really weird because it's like, for all it's all over the news and stuff, it's the first person that I actually physically know who's got it. Like, it's always been someone on TV, or it's been somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, or something like that. It's been a very distant kind of thing to me until hearing my sister had it, and it was like, wow, it just kind of hit home a little bit. But yeah, she's fine. Don't worry about her. She certainly seems to be okay at the minute anyway. It's nothing too serious to worry about. She's definitely got, from what she tells me anyway, one of the less kind of, not less serious, but you know what I mean. She's got a mild form, or it's affecting her mildly anyway. So yeah, but it was just kind of weird. I mean, it hit home a little bit more when it was somebody that I actually physically knew, especially my sister. So yeah, so I hope everybody else is fine. People seeing there. Where are we at? All chat's popping along there, isn't it? Tybee says, is the GW stuff not just Krylon? I know it used to be. There's a kind of Citadel black primer on eBay. It's 74 quid. I tell you what, I wouldn't pay 74 quid for it. It's just I was chatting with, like, I think it was John Estel I was chatting to in the Facebook group the other day. I pretty much buy any spray primers. I just buy from Halfords, which is like, for those in the US or anywhere else, it's like an auto shop type thing. Sell bits of car parts and sort of like push bikes and that kind of stuff. Camping equipment now as well, I suppose. But yeah, I just buy the spray primers from there, to be fair, and they've always served me pretty well. And then, or I'll airbrush stuff as well. So if it's a model that I'm really kind of, maybe the details are a bit soft, or I want to try and do a bit of a better job on it, I'll spray prime it with my airbrush. So obviously this one I've spray primed. It's like one of my hero models, if you like, for my HQ or whatever they're called. Hero models, yeah, it is hero models. So, but yeah, just like for the base, so this is the base I've made for it. Just kind of looks like sort of cobblestone type things with a bit of sand on. That's just primed with the grey Halfords primer over that one. Tybee is saying his week's been hot. Honestly, buddy, I don't know how you cope with that, mate. I'm definitely not built for the heat. When me and my wife went on our honeymoon, it was to a particularly hot country, and I was absolutely like wiped out for the first few days. My body just is not designed to be in a hot country like that. Where else we at? Barry saying good wishes, best wishes to her. Yeah, like I say, I'm sure she's fine. We had a good chat yesterday, so I'm sure she's absolutely fine. She seems to think she is anyway. She's just feeling a bit tired, sleeping quite a bit, she said, and is a bit up and down. But she said she's not like bedridden or anything like that. She's not got any breathing issues. I think she just feels pretty wiped out. But yeah, she rang all the different people that you're supposed to ring, and they talked her through all the different stuff and said, yeah, that's what you've got pretty much. So, but yeah, just like I say, it kind of hits home, doesn't it? Brings it home when something like that happens. Kelly, yeah, thanks. Saying hope she recovers quickly as well. Steve saying they're cracking models. Glenn saying hope she'll be all right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks as well, Phil. Thanks. Mr. Trainer saying his girlfriend had it as well. She's fine now. Just had a bad flu. She'll be fine. Don't worry. Look up about the Stanford studies on it. To be honest, mate, I'm trying to avoid as much of it as I can because it's all a bit depressing, and I don't know. I've got a feeling you might not be in the UK, mate. But anyway, in the UK, the press at the minute seem to be just taking turns in just like sort of contradicting each other, slaughtering MPs and politicians and all that kind of stuff, just giving everyone a hard time rather than actually trying to pull together and get this sorted. It's like they've got nothing to talk about. There's nothing else in the news apart from this, so they just kind of labour the point on every little thing. So it's a bit overwhelming, mate. So what I'm starting to do is not really read up about it. I listen to the announcements on an evening, like they have like a 5 p.m. kind of like government address type thing where they bring you up to speed and stuff. I tend to listen to that stuff just to kind of keep the rest of it really, and then I'd zone out from the rest. Whilst it's massively important, kind of do my bit by not going out and all that kind of stuff. Peter saying his mum's cousin's husband died of COVID this week. I've heard of a few people who've had family members. Sorry for your loss as well, Peter, but I've heard a few people of family members who've sadly passed away. But it's yeah, unfortunately it seems the way of it is, mate, isn't it? Steve saying there are a number of colleagues at work who's got it. Touch wood, all recovered. Barry says I like the GW Black Primer, but mostly use Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum's it must be a very sort of US brand. It's not something that we see a lot of here. I think the odd shop gets it in, but it's not like it's not the most popular of brands, if you like. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of detail on this model, and I'm having to try and kind of pick my way through and decide what it is. It's not that it's kind of badly sculpted. There's a lot of detail on it. I'm having to. I think the best thing I'll do is I'll just paint and highlight it afterwards. We'll take it from there. Stu saying loves Halford's great plastic primer. Yeah, it seems to work really well with it, doesn't it, mate? Robert saying he went to the store for some groceries and some cheaper paints. He used it for terrain. Paints were all out except for a couple of the big bottles of brown. Got Sam in as well. Nice to see you, Sam. All the way from Hawaii. Nice to see you. Aloha to you too. Robert says, well, prayers will be your sister. Thank you, Robert. That's very, very kind of you, mate. There's a lot of people deserving of prayers at the moment, so appreciate that, mate. Where else are we at? Tony says, I never got away with priming in black. I can't see the details. There is that, mate. I've done different ways over the years. I used to always prime in black because my painting was so poor that I would always miss bits. So by priming in black, if you miss anything, it just looks like shadow or something like that. Doing the easy route out. And I then started to prime in white, and I would give it a wash of like Nuln oil over the top, and that really helped to kind of pick out the details. So you could actually, it was a bit like sort of zenithal highlighting before I knew what zenithal highlighting was. So that would like pick out the details. And then I started doing a bit of zenithal priming, which is like a black primer and then like a light grey or a white from above to really kind of separate it out. Gives you a bit of a pre-shading effect. And then to be honest, these days, I'm just happy to get stuff finished. So I tend to just prime them grey and then work away on the model that way. So, yeah. Thank you, Peter, as well, for your kind words there about my sister. Kelly says, put order with friendly local game store. We'll go and pick a curbside this afternoon. 2 cans of black primer and an army painter. Mr. Trainers in Ireland says it's all over the place. Media everywhere been going nuts. Yes, mate. Keep painting or else I'll cry. I've got no intention to stop painting, mate. To be honest, so obviously this is coming at a time, and I'm sure most of you know now because you're all kind of regulars and stuff. But you know that this is now my full-time job. I don't have I do have a day job. This is it, but I don't have like a normal sort of 9 to 5 day job anymore. Sort of creating content and all this kind of stuff's now going to be my full-time thing. So this is actually quite in the current sort of situation when it's difficult to grab that time to get started because my little one's obviously at home and stuff, and I'm looking after him while my wife works. These painting streams have been exactly what I needed for my own motivation as well, to kind of give me something to look forward to, forces me to get the brushes out when I might not really be feeling it at that particular time because I've had a bit of a busy day with a little one or whatever. So yeah, they're working for me too. So don't think for 1 second I'm planning on stopping doing any of this. These are here to stay, and I know these streams do clash with some other live streamers as well, and I apologise. I'm not doing it on purpose to kind of go up against them or anything like that. But this is my job now, so I basically work when I can. So that's the plans. Steve says, "Don't get me started on the press. I told Mrs. not to put it on." Yeah, honestly, mate, I'm actively trying to avoid it now. To be fair, so whilst it's hugely important, and I do like to try and keep up to date on what's happening and stuff. By the same stretch, I'm trying not to get bogged down in it. So whilst these kind of hobby streams and stuff, like, I'm not going to ignore it. It's like you have to treat the whole thing with respect. It's not about ignoring it and pretending it's not happening. By the same stretch, I'm not going to kind of labour the points too much on these streams, because otherwise we just add fuel to the fire, don't we? So, but yeah, I do know that it's affecting people. I mean, like, my little boy this morning said like the most heartbreaking little thing to me, and he's only 3, and he said that he hasn't got any friends anymore because he's not seen anybody in weeks. And honestly, my heart could have broke for him. And like trying to explain to him how he still has friends, but he can't see them at the minute and stuff because he's used to seeing them at nursery. Honestly, mate, you forget how this is affecting different people in different ways. So yeah, this is a place to kind of hang out and try and get a bit of positivity, but by the same stretch, be sympathetic that these things are still happening. Mr. Trinity, you use spray paint from Deals, like a pound shop type stuff? Yeah, I used to use some pound shop type stuff. The problem with it was the ones in the UK anyway, in England, absolutely stinks. It was an awful smell, and it made me feel physically sick. And it seemed to hang around, the smell seemed to hang around for ages afterwards. So for me, it was worth paying a little bit extra money to not have to feel physically sick every time I spray primed something. So yeah, I tend to avoid that stuff now. As far as painting this goes, folks, I have absolutely no kind of I've got no kind of method, I don't know which bits I'm going to paint, which bits I'm going to leave silver or anything like that. I'm just kind of winging it as I go, just what feels right. I want it to have enough blue on it that it fits with the army, but not so much that I just feel like I've painted the whole thing blue, really. So I'm kind of just picking bits at it, and I'll work it from there, really, I think. But the plan is to kind of do that and highlight it up and stuff. So yeah, I'll just kind of play it by ear, I think. Thomas has started priming in beige colour and has painted five minis. Used black and white before, but beige seems to work. Beige worked great, mate. I used beige to like a camo sort of khaki colour to do all of like my Warcry scenery. I did all my Star Wars Legion stuff. Well, not the Stormtroopers, but all my Rebels and that I did with it. Kelly says, did some Zenithal priming today, had primed in white or sprayed it black from underneath. Yeah, I know that isn't a real word. I know what you mean, all the same. Barry said he's primed grey, black, white, depending on the colours. Yeah, I mean, as you get a bit more confident and stuff, obviously, if you know you want to get quite bright colours, Obviously, then you need a lighter undercoat. Otherwise, you'll be forever trying to kind of highlight it up. But yeah, it's just whatever works for you. I mean, the video I'm busy making in the background and stuff at the minute. It's really about getting stuff done fast and about painting stuff quickly and alternative methods, and it's to bear in mind that, like, unless your hobby is trying to paint to a very high standard, dun is the best colour, I find. Actually, just dun. Where are we at? Talking about underpainting there, yeah. Palmsy's asking, where's Christian? This whole place is going to descend into madness. Christian's playing D&D tonight, so yeah, he's got a night off. Yeah, he's chilling out with his mate on there by doing Skype on there, by doing D&D online, I should say. No doubt he might pop in later if he's finished. But yeah, he's a huge help. You lot just have to be kind to me tonight. Keep me on the straight and narrow. And I'll have to pimp out my own stuff. Devon Turner says, eagerly awaiting his starter set for Oak and Iron from Firelock Games in the post. Ship seems like a welcome change from 28mm. Yeah, that'll be nice, mate. Be nice to see what you think of that when it arrives. I've been looking at, there's a lot of people been doing black sails lately. Something I would potentially take a look at. I've got a Cruel Seas starter that I've never touched, that I probably at some point will pick up and do something with it as well. So yeah, no doubt I'll get to that at some point, especially now with the need to find plenty of stuff to make content with, and not being able to get out and physically kind of buy stuff and that, and not a lot of new stuff releasing. It's you kind of start with what you've already got, especially the stuff I've not touched yet. Although, to be fair, I've been doing a good bit of progress speaking to new companies who want to feature some of their stuff on their channel. That's been going well this week. A bit of admin in the background, getting all that kind of stuff sorted. So you should, over the next few weeks, as things start to arrive, with the postal service being a bit slow at the moment, you'll start to see some cool new stuff on the channel, which will be nice. Just scroll back a little bit. King John says, ho ho, hey Andy and everyone, still making deliveries in the Texas Panhandle. Work said we're officially busier than Christmas season. It's scary, man, isn't it? Scary. Luke says contrast primer smells really weird too. It has got a bit of a weird kind of, like, almost like plasticky smell to it a little bit. Matt Mountain's in, nice to see you, mate. Says, I made it. BlackJack is for hashtag Mantic Wednesday. Yeah, we've got a bit of Mantic on the live stream tonight. If anybody from Mantic ever watches this, thank you very much for sharing the live stream tonight as well. It was on their hobby blog for the week. Very kind of them to do so. I hadn't asked them to do that, so always very very nice to see that kind of support. Right, I think we've got potentially enough blue on that, I think. And I think we'll switch across now and do another bit. Where are we at? Sam saying he's got some minis to finish, but yeah, been busy with other things. Definitely missing the social aspect of the hobby, but never painted with someone before. To be honest, mate, I think I said this on my first hobby painting stream. I hadn't really painted with someone either. It's quite nice just to have, like, these live streams. Really, they're not meant to drive big numbers, and they're not meant to kind of to drive sort of new subscribers. They're really just for the BlackJack community, somewhere to hang out. Almost like it almost holds you accountable to, like, right, I'm going to do some painting on Wednesday. There's a live stream on, a painting live stream. We're all going to hang out. We're all going to sit and paint together. It's just that kind of cool thing to do, isn't it? Kelly saying, unfortunately, it's only 4 p.m. and he's part of USA, so he's got to go to a work meeting. Work just gets in the way of the hobby. Just tell the man, he said, it's fine, you can have the rest of the day off. Sam says, dun is the best colour. That'll preach. Yes. That's definitely where my kind of mentality is. Done is the best colour. Because otherwise, like, you can, it's knowing when to stop sometimes, isn't it? It's knowing when is enough is enough. And also, I get so much enjoyment from just actually finishing a model. I am shaking my paint, by the way, folks. I'm not just having some kind of weird shaky camera movement. Mr. Trainer says, what material is that made out of? It's resin, mate. It's a resin model, and it's one of Mantic Games' resin models, and I will praise their resin models till the cows come home. They really are good quality. The casters know what they're doing. They know exactly how to, they know exactly how to get the best out of them. And the sculptors these days are fantastic as well. So yeah, anything that's going to be resin coming from Mantic, you're going to get some really, really nice quality minis, because it tends to be all the new stuff now as well. So I've noticed the later Walking Dead stuff, because obviously the sales of those minis are lower than when the original Kickstarter waves came out. It doesn't make sense to make them all in plastic. Actually, let me just get a smaller brush for this bit, because it's a bit of a tight little face. So yeah, they're resin as well, and I haven't seen them in the flesh, but everybody that tells me they have speaks very, very highly of them. So I'll tell you what, I must have left brush soap on my brushes, and they're a bit stiff at the minute. People saying, yeah, it's resin. James is saying he's got that same Cruel Seas starter set untouched. It's like under here where my legs are at the minute. It's just like tucked underneath. Glenn saying, hit that like button if you haven't already, as Christian would say. That would be nice, folks. We've got 48 people in, 26 likes. Let's see if we can get the number of likes to match the number of people watching. That would be a nice little achievement. That's my mission for tonight. I'm also not treating you to me watching my wearing my reading glasses. I've got a pair of reading glasses that I use for using kind of like a bit more detailed work, because I'm old. You know, that's what happens to us oldies. But yeah, I'm actually just kind of slopping this in at the minute, and I'll tidy up the silver bit. So you might be able to see, just kind of getting into the face features there. I think I'll paint him like he's got. I think we'll see he's got some kind of like brown leather gloves or something underneath this. I think that might be the best way to do it. Let me just check something. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Who else we got? What else we got going on? Black Seas models are fantastic, says Barry Cliver. I'll have to check them out, mate. I know Luke Pryor, who's in the chat tonight, he's been doing some stuff which I really liked. We've got Dan Hughes is in. Nice to see you. Howdy, Dan. How's tricks with you, fella? Nice to see you in tonight. Tony needs to get a Wi-Fi booster to plant on the first floor of his house. Get loads of buffering in the cave. Yeah, I think. I also think YouTube are kind of, you know, when you normally, if you click on like maximum quality or whatever, I think sometimes you've got to go in and change it, because YouTube seems to be like sending it out at like 720 and stuff, and a bit lower at times to try and save bandwidth for people. So yeah, if your quality looks a bit garbage, it's not my stream. My stream's coming out at 1080, so just check your quality buttons and stuff. Craig says, not painting tonight, but varnishing his Kings of War army. Used a lot of contrast paints and found they don't hold up to being touched. I've heard that as well, mate, that they're a little bit susceptible to to damage, and I think it's because they're just so thin that it gets knocked, doesn't it? So yeah, I think you do have to give it a bit of a varnish. 100% you do. Let me just do this bit before I go back. Devon, deep red. Oh, Tony, sorry. Tony says new T-shirt design. Dun is the best color. Yeah, I might do that, mate. Actually, I quite like that. Dun is the best color. Deep red saying dun is definitely best when doing rank and flank. Otherwise, it's a waste of effort because you just don't see it. 100%, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to to paint nice, but I think after years of just trying to to really give everything 100%. my best effort and then finding that I never really finish anything. It's so satisfying to just see finished projects. So yeah, I'm quite happy to kind of lower my standard just to see stuff completed, and especially when a lot of stuff that I'm doing is just, it might be just be for like for one video or something like that, and then I might not get to play it again for a while. So yeah, it works for me anyway. Devon says Black Seas looks great as well. Would love to see it on the channel. The rigging looked a little intimidating though. I love the cards in oak and iron. I think, to be fair, mate, it's something I might potentially get to it. Horns fan says, hi everyone, how long's the stream planning to go? To be honest, mate, it might be another 2 hours. I think we went about 3.5 hours last time. It's just kind of while I've got stuff to paint, mate, and while people are still watching, I'll keep going. So you can hang out as long as you want, or call back later if you've got other things to do as well. Where are we at? Dan says he's been eyeing up Cruel Seas today. Coincidentally, think I'm wanting some retail therapy. Do you know what? I said this same thing to my wife the other day, because this month is our like annual work bonus. So for all I don't work there anymore. Well, I do technically. I still work there because my contract doesn't end until June. But the bonus I've just got is from last year, and the plan was that bonus was tied up for our summer holiday. Now we're not having that summer holiday. So, and I said it's kind of weird to my wife. I've been reining things back so much, getting ready for going full time with this stuff. I've not been spending anything. I've not bought any hobby stuff. I've literally spent nothing on the hobby this year. And it was like, I feel like I want to buy something, but there's nothing I really need, and there's nowhere. I can't just go and browse for it stuff. So I think I'm getting that kind of twitchy lack of retail therapy thing going on. But luckily, I feel like I've been building up to it. So yeah, but I did buy. To be fair, I did buy the few things that I needed. So for those of you who are in the slow grow campaign, the Kings of War slow grow campaign, Mantic very kindly gave us a 20% discount voucher this month. If you're not in the Kings of War slow grow campaign, you still can. It's not too late to dive into it. So I used that 20% off code to get myself the few bits and pieces that I needed to finish my 2,000 points. So this model here, I think, is 220 points, which kind of takes me over my 1,000 points anyway. I think I'm up to like 960, I think it is at the minute. And this will take me well over my, like, towards probably next month's total, to be fair. But then after this, I've run out of models to paint for my Kings of War army. So yeah, I used that voucher and got some extra bits. Glenn says, oh sorry, I've missed a few there. Jimmy Newton says, evening all, first time catching the live stream. Hello Jamie, thank you very much for coming in, buddy. Really appreciate you coming over and checking it out. Let me know what you're up to, what you're painting. Are you just kind of just popping in to say hello? Craig saying Spartan Games used to do a fantasy game called Uncharted Seas. Yeah, I quite like Uncharted Seas. I thought when War Cradle, was it War Cradle picked up Spartan Games? Yeah, they did. When War Cradle picked up Spartan, I thought Uncharted Seas would have come back out, but it seems that the only one they've brought out so far has been Dystopian Wars. Tony saying Mantic resins are fabulous, can't praise them enough. The monobike from Dead Zone is amazing. Yeah, you've seen, you've just been getting that way, hadn't you? Where's the colour I'm looking for? All right. Glenn says, do you feel like there are certain topics you've already covered in past videos that would be worth revisiting maybe on an annual basis? For example, how to get into a game videos. Yeah, I to be fair, mate, what I tend to do is that the stuff that I tend to go back and revisit. So I went back to revisit, I did a video for the differences between Kill Team and Necromunda, and that video did really well the first time I made it. And then what happened was Kill Team had basically, like, the starter set changed, and Necromunda, all of the books changed and that kind of stuff. So I went back and revisited that one. The second video has done pretty well as well. I did a video called kind of like 5 games to get new players into the hobby, and that one just constantly keeps getting watched. It's always in like my top 10 kind of most watched videos. So I decided to remake that one as well and revisit it, and all the ones that I recommended the first time around. Are there still games I would recommend? Are there any new ones that's kind of come along? So yeah, I think there's definitely a place to go back and revisit stuff. So yeah, it's definitely. Mate, was there something in particular that you were thinking about? Because I think the thing is, like, games change, like second editions come out. Even when things like FAQs come along, they change things. So like when I did the Warcry stuff, I put in about sort of like, 5 rules beginners get wrong, that type of stuff. And then after I made those videos, GW kind of changed the ruling for cover. So I went back and recovered that one for cover basically. So I think it's only fair to revisit some of those things, mate. Robert's saying I didn't used to like painting, but the last couple of years I've gotten a lot better. Mostly tips from the group and a few YouTube videos. Won't win awards, but I'm happy. I think I got to a similar place, mate, to be fair. I did get to a point where I was getting a bit... I didn't really want to paint. And I think a lot of it was putting pressure on myself to be better than I am, or to come up to other people's standards. And actually it was like, I'm never going to be that good. Let's not kid myself. Or certainly not. I'm not going to be that good while I'm not putting the time and effort in. If I really try to do kind of new sort of not tricks, but new methods. If I try to raise my game, I might be able to get there over time. But my painted stuff doesn't really go on display. Like, I've got hardly any models out in this room. My stuff is just to be played. So as long as it looks pretty decent on a tabletop and I'm happy enough with it, that tends to be good enough. Glenn saying, I see annual, some new players returning. Yeah, I think it's interesting actually. I think if a game's changed, or there's been an update, or there's been like new armies released or something like that, like certain things I'll see a surge in old videos when something happens. So for example, if something new comes out for Kill Team, for example, I'll see a surge in my old Kill Team videos or my Warcry stuff. Similar kind of things for that. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth going back and revisiting them. At the end of the day, it's all content, isn't it? It's all things to make videos about. So I'm just conscious as well that obviously, as I've mentioned many times, my stuff's really for the community as well. So as long as you folks want to watch it, my biggest problem I've got is I always think my ideas are pretty garbage, and I go, oh, nobody wants to see a video on that. And to be fair, like some of the videos I've done where I've just went, look, like, just do it anyway, I've been some of my more successful. So for example, the one I did with the Warcry terrain one, I almost didn't make it because I just thought, like, oh, you're kind of teaching your granny to suck eggs here. I'm like, sure everybody knows how to do this. And then here we are, that video's done like 60,000 views now. So I just got to realise, because I might take something for granted doesn't mean somebody else does. And I've got to remember that and just make that video anyway. Even if nobody watches it, like, what have I lost? A bit of time making a video, not the end of the world. So, where are we at? Pomsey's saying, what do people use to get their tufts to stand up? I don't know if I'll get that far tonight, mate. We're getting tufts. Oh, I'm not on this one. I'm talking about some other models I've been painting. I tend to sprinkle them on, and then I turn the base upside down and flick the base on the bottom, and it seems to kind of get them standing up. Other people use like a static applicator as well. Claudio's saying, I'm in the boat for done is best, but I got better and faster. Yeah, I think as I became sort of less concerned about what people thought about my stuff, I think I certainly got to a point where I got faster at getting the same standard, and I stopped worrying about it. Terry says, sorry, rushed outside, lots of blue lights attending house fire 10 doors along with a lone OAP man with dementia. Oh my God. I hope everything's okay, Terry. That doesn't sound good at all, mate. I hope everyone's safe. Steve says, looks like there's a Mantic Gaming Con coming in 2021. Exploder Con, hopefully coming early next year. Kings of War, Vanguard, Dead Zone, Dreadball, Walking Dead on the cards. Nice, mate. Nice to see more of those kind of things happening. good to see the Mantic community growing. Yeah, nice one, mate. If I can make it, I'll be there. Especially as I'm playing more Mantic stuff at the minute as well. What was I just going to say? I got sidetracked looking at a bit of this model. Bits I'd missed. Luke saying the black sail ships are second to none. Amazing detail without being over the top. Only issue I have is the flagships are resin body with metal masts. Why they choose to do metal masts seems crazy. I wonder if it's just the scale of it, mate. If it's just so small that it's potentially like too brittle. Dan says he played Monster Apocalypse last night on Tabletop Simulator and he enjoyed it, although it was clunky with the AI. I find Tabletop Simulator, I like it as an idea and as a principle, but the more moving pieces, if you like, a bit more kind of difficult it becomes. I used to play quite a bit of Tabletop Simulator of Star Wars Destiny with one of my sons, and we used to play it online. In fact, I think I've got a video of me and him playing it on as a video somewhere as well, and it worked pretty well for that because there wasn't that much. There was some dice to roll and there were some cards to go through. But I think once you start moving pieces around or trying to do tabletop stuff, you have to invest the time to get good at it, if you like. Otherwise, like people playing kind of 40k on Tabletop Simulator and it's taking them like sort of 3 nights to finish a game. Yeah, I don't think I could be chewed on with that, to be fair. Seems like a lot of hard work, but you get your game where you can get your game, I suppose, at the minute, don't you? If painting's not your bag and gaming's really what you're into, you'll probably persevere with that kind of stuff. Peter said he had to take the clippers to his hair today and chased his fringe across his head to my neck in the end. I have that kind of thing, mate. Oh, my camera's frozen again. Why does it do that? It's not... Actually, is it frozen? No, I don't think it is. It's froze on my other screen. That's weird. Weird? What's it doing that for? Technology, man. Technology. Craig says after procrastinating for a long time, one of his mates finished his first minis this week. Painted a Judawan team for Dreadball. Really stoked for him. Helps keep the momentum. Do you know what it is, mate? When you actually do finish it, there's just such a good feeling to seeing something finished. Barry saying Black Seas rigging isn't horribly bad. Just take your time. If I get frustrated, I just walk away and do something else for a bit. I think that's exactly what I might need to do, mate. I'm not short-tempered normally, but yeah, I have my moments. Just jumping ahead slightly there, Lee Reynolds saying, what time does this go on to? Fine, folks. Yeah, I would imagine around 11, maybe even as late as 12, mate. If I'm having fun and I've still got stuff to paint, it just tends to go on as long as people want to watch, mate. To be fair, as long as I've got something to paint, which I always have, and as long as people want to listen to my drivel. So, folks, I've kind of done the basic base coat type stuff on this, and then essentially because I'm just doing them really quite quickly, I'm just going to slather the whole thing in an Agrax wash basically, and then what I'll do is when that dries, I'll highlight it back up, and for reference, it's kind of exactly the same thing that I've been doing with this kind of thing, really. So this is kind of like my main centerpiece thing for the army. And I did exactly the same thing with this. So if you're thinking, oh my god, what on earth is he doing, please stay at the end and you'll see how it looks when it's all done. There's the brush I'm looking for. So where else we at? Joachim saying these issues that he doesn't know when I should stop painting. That used to be my problem, mate. I've ruined way too many minis not knowing when to stop. She feel like I'm never finished. First I decide I'll speed paint with contrast. I always end up highlighting them anyway. Sometimes the best thing to do is to come back to them the next day. Like sometimes you spend so much time just being like sort of like nose to nose with the model, you get lost in it and you think it's, you know, it's time to keep going. I need to do a bit more. That doesn't look good. I could do that better. I mean, you can see here, folks, this is like how this is like my hero model, if you like. I'm still going to paint like the main frame of it, if you like. or the main like base coats and stuff, how I've done all of my my kind of like my rank and file stuff, and then it just keeps them all looking similar. And then what I'll do is I'll probably spend a little bit more time with the highlighting, a bit more time than I have done with the rank and file really, but it just keeps all the colors the same. It keeps them all laid up the same way. And what I tend to do is for those of you that are maybe not that confident in your color choices as well, maybe you've not been painting that long. Let me just double check, make sure my microphone's still working because it went off on the live stream the other night. For those of you that are a bit like not so confident on your color choices, GW has a website, and it also has an app as well for, I think it's for Android and for iOS. But it's basically it's their Citadel color app, and it tells you kind of tells you which colors they use for certain models. So if you've got a specific GW model, you can click on it and it'll tell you the colors to kind of paint their main schemes and stuff. But what I find is they've also got a color app thing that basically it tells you like the three colors, like the base color, the first highlight, and then like a second highlight, and it gives you like a 3-color palette or 3 shades of blue or 3 shades of red or whatever to achieve a certain thing. So if you're not that confident with like shading and stuff like that, it's a great way to just give you a little bit of a nudge. Is like, if I buy those 3 paints, I don't even have to mix them. I don't have to worry about trying to like remix, especially for army painting. I would never suggest kind of mixing specific colors yourself to paint a whole army. I just want to be able to buy a pot of paint and know I'm going to get it the same every time. Yeah, just I find it the GW thing's pretty cool. King John says, Dystopian Wars any good? I always fancied getting into it, King John, but there was never anybody in my local play group, the one I went to at the time, that was into it really. So we tended to stick with the games that we played, but it looked interesting. I liked the small sort of little like the small ships and the smaller scale and stuff. They were really, really detailed for their size. So it's something I'd been tempted to give a go to when Warcradle gets back around to releasing it properly, because I think it's just in like a bit of a beta testing stage at the minute. I think you can still buy the minis because they're obviously the old Spartan Games minis at the minute. So I think you can still buy stuff, and then they've got some kind of free alpha or beta rules available. But I've not tried it, mate. I've not tried it yet. It's something I think I will do at some point because I don't really have any naval games that I play. Like I say, I've got Cruel Seas that I might give a try to. The Black Sails, I think it is, or Black Seas. Seems pretty cool. Some nice models in that as well. And let's be honest, like a lot of this stuff, if the models are good, you're willing to kind of give stuff a try a lot of times. It's not, you can forgive some kind of. You sometimes forgive rules that aren't perfect if the minis are nice and the game looks good and you kind of enjoy painting them. But I sometimes think that good rule sets get lost if there's not a mini range or a good mini range to support it. Sometimes people instantly see it and go, "Ugh, that looks garbage," and it's a shame because there's some good rule sets that maybe don't see the light of day. So as you can see, folks, I've told you many times I'm an average painter at best. I am literally just slathering this thing in Agrax Earthshade, liquid talent as it's been called many times, and the idea is I'll let that run into recesses. It'll darken down the silver, it'll give me some shading in the model, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll highlight some of this up. I mean, I'm literally putting it across the face, across the beard. That's why I use a really bright orange. I use a Troll Slayer orange for the ginger beards, and then because I know this is going to kind of darken it down. And all I'm doing now really is just going around. I don't want any excess where it's lying on it. I don't want to see any kind of pooling on the flat panels. I also don't want to miss any as well, because if you miss it, it looks kind of weird. So I think that is pretty much done. We'll leave that to one side to dry, and I might as well crack on with the base while we're waiting. We'll get the base painted. Right, where are we at? Robert said he's around 1600 points for his Kings of War slow grow. Nice one, mate. You're flying along. Was Lee Reynolds was asking what time. Hello Lee, by the way, if you're still around. Sam was saying the 5 things videos were quite useful. They always do really well, mate. It's just that they need to. They work well when the rule sets when the rule sets aren't the most obvious, or when there's a few little rules that people like maybe misunderstand. Like the kill team ones did really well because a lot of kill team players had come from 40k and assumed they knew everything, and they were basically getting the rules wrong because they were expecting the rules to be the same as 40k and they weren't. So that's why those ones kind of did pretty well. But yeah, I also do them as well because it helps me learn the rules. If I have to be able to explain them really succinctly on a video, one, I have to be 100% right because there's nothing worse than making a video about rules and getting it wrong. You look like a right dick. And then the second thing is I need to really understand them myself. So yeah, I started doing those kind of videos to help me as much as anything else. And I know if it helps me, it'll help somebody else really. Devon saying good to know on Black Sea's rigging. Needs to check it out. Got Fabio in as well. Says hello. I'm starting Dwarves for Kings of War, and this is awesome. Thanks. Thank you very much, Fabio. It's you are a man with taste, picking up the little stunty fellas. So thank you very much. Bit of chat there. Kieran saying right, all brushes are clean now, and they're time to get them dirty again. Sam saying maybe he's brain fried after work, but I tend to learn better by watching or doing than reading. I do as well, mate, to be fair. I've said many times in the past, oops, that was a disaster almost averted there. I've said many times in the past, I'm definitely much more a visual like learner. Like if I'm learning when I'm editing videos, for example, if I want to try something different, I'll go straight away and YouTube it and follow a tutorial on how to do it. If I'm interested in a new game, I'll kind of pop out onto YouTube and see if anybody's made a video about it, anybody's talking about it. And what's interesting now is doing this like for my job. I'm now getting sort of speaking to companies who have got new games coming, and they want to send me a copy to have a look over and to tell them what I think of it or do a review of the game or something like that. And it's like it's awesome that happens, and I'm looking forward to those games coming through. But it's tough for me because I won't have any playthroughs to go and kind of make sure I'm getting the rules right. So yeah, the rules have to be pretty clear. I'm gonna have to get better at reading rules. Where are we at? Phil saying he watched the 5 games for beginners today just before the show. Second time watching it, still good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, don't feel you have to watch all my stuff twice, but if you've got the time. Where are we at? Luke saying the mask should have stayed as plastic. I think it's the plastic stuff's always too expensive, isn't it? That's the problem. Like it's too expensive to produce, so they tend not to do like small runs of things in plastic. Where are we at? Tiberius is saying on painting skill, I think it's more important to find an art style that's yours. Yeah, I'm not sure I've found a style yet. Maybe it'll come with time, but yeah, I think my style is done. I think that's what I was just talking about before. Really, I think I'm just happy with the feeling I get of completing a project. Far outweighs me painting the best I've ever painted, if you like. And I want to try and encourage that. Really, there's too many people get put off painting because they think they can't like live up to the standards of the heavy metal teams, or they can't live up to the standards of their friends even. But at the end of the day, any paint job looks better than grey plastic. So never be frightened just to get some paint on it and give it a go. Even just blocking in the base color, blocking the base colors like I just did and give it a wash. Looks 90%. You're 90% of the way there, really, and then you can always work from there if you want to spend a bit more time with it or something like that. Claudio's in half his hobby life he painted awfully or played with mostly unfinished armies. Now I can't really do that anymore. I blame Thomas, but it's a good thing in the likes of painting efforts. Your painting stuff's great, mate. You've got nothing to worry about. Palmsy says he's got his own style. He calls it shit too. Peter saying similar to his. Sam saying the terrain was super useful. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's one of those videos where I just thought, nah, no, nobody's interested in that. Where are we at? Wow, that just jumped off the top of my head. It said I had no more chatting, and all of a sudden I did. Kieran says, what's everyone's biggest hobby painting cheat tool? This is either a toothpick for small dots or metallic Sharpie markers. I wouldn't say, I think washes are probably my biggest cheat, but I wouldn't say I particularly had a certain cheat. Let's go with a bit of contrast paint, he says, when he's talking about cheating. So I tend to use black contrast paint for a lot of stone stuff. It just kind of settles, mate. It settles. Where is he at? Palmsy's saying he's got the GW gluey tufts on plastic sheet. They're a bit flat. I would just try, yeah, maybe like a toothpick or something, mate. Just kind of try pulling them up a little bit. That might do the trick. See how that goes. Now this is going to, these stone slabs and stuff are actually going to, not so much the stone, but the actual ground itself, the ground cover around it, they're going to get covered by snow at the end. So I'm not too worried about these being perfect. And then obviously the model's going to stick on the top of it as well. So you're hardly going to see half of the stuff. So, and to be honest, I shouldn't have really painted the ground the brown colour. Like I should have painted it like a lighter colour, because the snow is going to sit on it, and I want the snow to be quite light. But the problem is I've based all my other stuff exactly the same way, so I've just got to keep it consistent. So that one there, for example, if you can see on the base of that one, that's on that like brown base. You can see where the edge is kind of chipped a little bit there. So yeah, it'll look the same as that when it's done. Glenn saying that the toothpick suggestion today for painting eyes, I have to try that out. I've never tried that either, mate. It's probably something I should give a try to, because I am garbage at painting eyes. I watch people on YouTube doing it, like on painting tutorials about how to paint eyes and things, and they look like they're painting with like a 6-inch brush, like, and they're very, very gently just like sort of dotting them eyeballs in. I just must not have that kind of level of brush control, I don't think. I just don't think I'm that good. David Mack is in as well. Nice to see you, David. How you doing, mate? Horns fan says, Star Wars Destiny, whatever happened to that game? I feel like it just disappeared one day. It did just disappear one day, mate. Yeah, they basically stopped supporting it. I played it when it was relatively early on, kind of Wave 2, Wave 3. Or I think it was Empire at War, might have been the ones I was getting into. But really, really good game. But just the power creep, mate. It was just that it was like Magic the Gathering. It was, you just had to spend so much money trying to keep up with the power curve if you were into that kind of stuff, which at the time I was, and I must have spent 500 quid on cards before I thought, what the hell are you doing? And just stopped. Sold all the ones that were kind of like ultra rares, recouped most of my money back, and got out while I was still alive. Tony's waiting for his paint to dry, or for a ciggy. Glenn saying Star Wars Destiny got discontinued. Yeah. Tony saying he's just amazed he's not used any green on green skin tone yet. Claudia says, sorry, I'm elevating the chat. What's this amateur doing on the stream? Horns fan says, yeah, talk about that. Scott says, just had a phone call telling me my mother is in hospital being treated for coronavirus and potential pneumonia. Scott, mate, I assume you're not listening, mate, but I really hope everything's okay, mate. Nothing. Hope she makes a quick recovery from that. Yeah, people saying the same thing as well. Craig saying I have the opposite problem for knowing when to stop. I enjoy doing the base colours, but get bored of doing the highlights. Yeah. Everyone's wishing Scott's mum the best, and Scott obviously Crabby saying, did I miss much? Had a bit of internet drama. Just me rabbiting and painting, mate, to be fair. Lee says, late at the party night was playing Keyforge with his mate using the Crucible online. How do you find that, mate? I've not tried that. Do you find it's good enough to play? Tony's saying, on Dystopian Universe, the Wild West Exodus posse boxes are excellent value. You get a starting group, rules card, dice. The minis are decent, good count. Just going to do pickies for Andy in Discord with and compare and contrast the Malifaux starter. Yeah, the Wild West Exodus stuff's not too bad. It's a game I fancied going back to revisit at some point, but Warcradle didn't really seem to want to speak to me for some reason. Sam Takoris has made errors on his Aristia videos, so yeah, I know that door feeling. There's a running joke about rules errors in our streaming games. I don't think there's any problem with getting an error. If you're streaming a game and you make an error, just, you know, own the error. It doesn't make a difference. Like, if you make an error and your opponent doesn't pick you up on it, like, then so what? Just have fun, play the game and have fun with it, kind of thing. Right, folks, I'm at a point now on this painting stream where I'm waiting for stuff to dry. I haven't really thought that through. I should have. Have I still got it here? Or my wife got it next door. Should have got my hairdryer really and speeded the whole thing up. This one looks like it's not doing too bad. I'll pop that there. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll stick it on the main camera for a bit while I have a drink, and I'll catch it with a chat a bit as well. So excuse me. Palmsy's saying, if you get the rules wrong, just say that's the rule of cool. Yeah, like I said, it's different if you're doing a rules video and you're trying to tell people how to play a certain game. You should really get it right, and I've done that same thing, that error before as well. I've thought it was really clear in my head, and I've been wrong. But if it's just like if it's a playthrough or something like that, or a demo, yeah, so be it. Samson made, yeah, sorry, that's what you've been chatting about. Malkavian, I'm sure I saw your name ages ago and completely missed it, mate. Nice to see you in, fella. Marco as well, nice to see you too. Mr. Trainer saying, washes are like cheat codes for mini painters. I am absolutely fine with cheat codes. Marco said he had a bad afternoon. Looking forward to relaxing while painting. I hope you're well, mate. Whatever the problem was, mate, I hope it's nothing too serious, nothing too long term. But I hope you can chill out a little bit tonight. Tony saying, paint for yourself. Compare your paint jobs to your last paint job. That's the way to do it, mate. John said, I learned from your video about painting eyes. Yeah, do you know what it is, mate? I know how to do it. It just takes me about 25. It takes me 25 goes to get it right. If you saw how many times I do it to do it right on the video, yeah, you wouldn't think it. Peter says, I'm just doing some null oil shading just to join in. It's much my hay fever eyes will allow it today. Yeah, take it, fine, mate. Take your time. Luke's in, use a Unipin fine tip for eyes. I've heard that as well, mate. Lee's off to see the satellites. I've heard about the satellites. I've not seen them myself yet, actually. David says he's still gluing the rigging. Work is still getting in the way, even in the lockdown. How dare it, mate, eh? How dare work get in the way? Pomsy said he's debating whether to edge highlight his butchers or quit while he's ahead. Do you normally edge highlight, mate? Or would you normally just kind of do your own thing? William Jones says he's off to forage. Good night, all. Good night, William. Thanks for coming in, mate. VJ is in as well. Good morning, sir. He says, how's tricks? Tricks are pretty good, mate. I'm not too bad. Thanks very much. Claudio saying, hey, VJ, you fell out of bed from down under. Steve says, your hair dry. You're right. I did have my wife's hair dryer down here the other day because I was using it to dry minis while I was painting. Obviously, I've moved it now, haven't I? I'll just sit here for a while. VJ saying, thanks everyone for the weird World War suggestions. He's checking them out. He says, do love the variety in the Conflict 47 range and be basing his selection on the rules and minis. Yeah. Oh, Scott, you're still here, mate. Best of luck, mate. I hope your mum's well and I hope she makes a speedy recovery, mate. He said, I've watched your Code 1 video about 10 times today to finally make my decision to buy those models are a thing of beauty. They are nice, mate. Like I said, I think I said to you before, mine's on the way, I think. I got an email from from. Oh, I found a bit of wash I've missed now. I got my email from Corvus Belly to say it was just to double check my address to make sure that it was going to the right address. So yeah, it's on its way at some point. I'm looking forward to that coming. Glenn saying there's a big Wolfenstein Kickstarter going on right now. Yeah, just be wary on that one, mate. So the company that is doing that Wolfenstein boards game Kickstarter has had some problems in the past with fulfilling orders under a different name. There used to be Prodos Games as well, I think, who did the Alien stuff and went out of business. So just make sure that you're going in with your eyes open, mate, and make sure you know everything there is to know before you make a decision. Jack says, hello mate, how's Shaggy War Game? So he's not painting at the moment, but he did finish another Nurgle Law today. How's everyone? I'll let everyone answer. Matt says, one of the best hobby buys is a pair of magnifying glasses. Well worth a £15 eyes or a doddle with them. I always find I'm okay with like binocular magnifying glasses because you can still judge distance, but I've got a magnifying glass like on a lamp, and I'm awful at trying to judge distance with it. Oh, Peter Nicholas says, time for a flat, white and chunky Kit Kat. Oh, God, I could definitely have one of those, mate. Devon says, has anyone played the new solo content or played the new solo content from All Out War from Mantic? I haven't played the new stuff, mate, but I've played lots and lots of All Out War solo. I love playing it solo. It's one of very few games that I do play solo, to be fair. VG says, anyone in the chat have any views on Conflict 47, Dust or Secrets of the Third Reich? I'll let you folks answer that while I decide if this is dry enough or not yet. I don't think it's. Do I want to push it? Yeah, let's crack on. I'm sure I'll find spots that are dry I can start on. Jack says, I think Wolfenstein Kickstarter is a bit late. They have already done Reichbusters. The problem with Reichbusters, mate, is it's done now. It's like you can't buy that now. It's like it was the Kickstarter and it's done. If you like, so if you didn't go in on that and you wish you'd missed out on it kind of thing. Wolfenstein's probably the thing that might pick a few people up. The problem is I don't think the company is overly reputable from what I understand and from what I've read and from what I know. So yeah, like I say, I'm not telling anybody not to back it. Far from it, I'm not telling people what to do, but just go into it with your eyes open. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you kind of understand the risks, because I've been really, really lucky with Kickstarter. I've only ever backed stuff that's pretty much arrived on time. Slight delays and stuff, but nothing serious. I've got everything I've ever paid for. The problem is some people have had their fingers burned, and this particular company, I think have let people down more than once. So yeah, just watch out for that. Let's get back to painting. Luke saying, didn't realise it was Prodos doing Wolfenstein. It's under a different name now, mate. They've got a different name. I forget what they're called, but it's yeah. Just do not get your fingers burned without first having a look at it. Like I say, I'm not telling you not to back it, but I certainly ain't recommending it. That's for sure. So, folks, somebody I was talking to today, so some people might know, there's a guy called James Baldwin, who is the creator of the Drowned Earth miniatures game. For those of you that are aware of the Drowned Earth, it's a skirmish game, kind of almost like, how could I phrase it? It's like weird kind of, not necessarily sci-fi, fantasy. There's kind of like dinosaurs and humans and weird like ape people and stuff. Really nice kind of setting, and some fantastic miniatures as well. He's got a Kickstarter coming soon. I was chatting to him about today, and it's based in the kind of like the universe, I think, of the Drowned Earth, and some of the mechanics are based in the Drowned Earth. But it's essentially it's a very much kind of board game. A board game miniatures crossover, really. So you still measure with a tape measure and stuff, but it's almost like story driven. So it's like a campaign. You can play it solo, you can play it co-op, and it basically it's kind of like card driven. So think a little bit like how Hellboy is, for those that's familiar with that, where you basically you flip over cards and it tells you what's like in the next room or whatever, or it tells you what enemies appear. It's that kind of thing, but it's done on a normal mat, like a gaming mat, tape measure, scenery, terrain. It seems really, really interesting. So he's going to be sending me over a prototype copy of that to take a look at. So we'll get that up on the channel as soon as it arrives. And then I'll give you the heads up, let you know what I think of it, and then you can check out the Kickstarter yourself and decide if it's something that you're interested in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to finding out a bit more about it. Marco's right there, yeah. Archon Studios, mate, that's the one. What's Dan on? Oh, I think Dan's on about Dust. Very enjoyable, yeah. Where are we at? Scott says just avoid anything on Kickstarter from Protoss Games. Yeah, I think the problem is, mate, yeah, they're not called that now. They're called the Archon Studios, aren't they? And people aren't necessarily putting two and two together. VJ saying the Ramparts Kickstarter shipped very late and with all the wrong bits. Is that's the same company, mate, isn't it, as well? Because the thing that worries me a little bit, it was like so today, Beasts of War or on Tabletop, whatever they're called now, they did like an unboxing of that Wolfenstein game, and it's almost a little bit like, well, it's not really an unboxing because the game hasn't been fulfilled yet. Like, it doesn't mean that's definitely what you're going to get. So surely it's just like a prototype as opposed to an unboxing. But you know, people don't always. You got to remember, not everybody's kind of like savvy about Kickstarter and stuff, and they don't always know the efficacy of some of these companies and stuff, or know where to look to find out more about them. So information is powerful. Dan Hughes is saying Drowned Earth is weird Indiana Jones. That's probably not a bad way to describe it, mate. I couldn't remember that. Devon Turner says no minis, but Railroad Inc. as a new edition coming to Kickstarter as well, with random challenges in a solo mode. Steve said his head torch is his favourite hobby item. Yeah, but that's because you're lying on your back, mate, isn't it? Kieran says, oh, nice to see you, Kieran Morris. Hello, mate. He says he somehow managed to make a live stream again, though I'm not painting. Digital art instead. I will paint vicariously. Digital art, still painting, mate. It's still an artistic pursuit. Can you tell us what you are digital painting, mate, or is that a secret at the moment? Is it kept under wraps? Scott said he got a nice surprise in his package from Mantic today. What was that, mate? Vijay says Empire Man minis were late. Yeah, I heard that as well, mate. Pomsy says champagne corks save you lots of money on mini holders. They don't save you much on champagne though. Yeah, luckily, mate, I'm not really a champagne drinker. These are all from Prosecco, to be fair. So like these are like £5 a bottle jobs. So yeah, I'm not a champagne Charlie, that's for sure. So I'm just kind of picking out some of these surfaces, really. I'm not really good when it comes to kind of realistic looking highlights. I tend to just pick up what looks like almost a little bit comic booky, a little bit cartoony really at times. And I like to just kind of pick them out and give the idea of highlights without looking too realistic. I think tends to work better for me. Because I ain't that good. I'm better off intentionally not trying too hard and getting it wrong. Seems to be the way it works better for me. Where is it? Crabby's saying Drowned Earth on his radar. Minis are great, looks a lot of fun. Hopefully he's consistent with the quality. Yeah, mate, it's to be fair, what he said is that the game, when it ships, when it goes to Kickstarter, the game will come, like the core set or the base set will come with card standees rather than miniatures, because a lot of the miniatures there's a big crossover between the Drowned Earth in it. However, as part of the Kickstarter, so the idea is if you already own a load of Drowned Earth miniatures, you wouldn't necessarily want to back it because you already own them all. So the kind of the base pledge is with cardboard standees. So you can still play it if you don't want to spend the money on the minis, or you already own the minis. But then you can in the pledge sort of upgrade it to include the miniatures as well. So it kind of gives options. I wasn't sure when he was first telling me about it. I was thinking, that could be a mistake really. But then when he kind of, the way he was explaining it about how it's, some people already have the stuff, then I started to think, oh well, I kind of see what you're trying to do now. So yeah, it's like I say, mate, he said he's going to pop a prototype in the post to me. So when that comes, I'll tell you what I think. Jackson, James of Drowned Earth, nice guy. Had an interview with him a while ago on the blog. Yeah, he's a nice guy, mate. I've met him a couple of times in the past. He came to our first ever weekender as well and supported it. So it was nice. But yeah, he dropped me a message today, and we had a good old natter. Richard saying, even lads might get some more work done on the iron golems. Yeah, get it done, mate. Scott said, apparently little Dicky Bird had told Johnny in the warehouse I was one Matic pod short of ordering the sheriff's badge and gun bag. So they sent me one for free and even included an extra point. That's nice, mate. You must have made friends in high places. No, that is customer service. Yeah, the guys over there in the customer service at Mantic are pretty solid, to be fair. They're a good bunch. Never really had any, like people obviously complain about the odd mispack or whatever it is, or sort of a few issues with bits, but they're always quickly rectified. Those kind of things happen. And I used to run the customer service department for my company as well. So the team worked for me basically in customer services. And like every company is going to do something wrong at some point. And the sign of a good company is what they do afterwards, like how they put it right. That for me is always the important part. And thankfully, Mantic have always done that when I've heard of stuff. Never had any particular issues myself, if I'm honest. So, well, I'm cracking on with this, folks. Getting these bits done. Where are we at? Derek Hodges saying, on tabletop get paid for unboxings. Yeah, they do, mate. They get paid for pretty much. When it's the weekender stuff and they're just talking about watching the news, I don't think they always get paid for that stuff. But anything they do a proper review on, or they do like not a review certainly, but if they do like an unboxing, if they do a playthrough with the creators and stuff, yeah, they tend to get paid for that stuff. So, like I say, this is why I'm saying do your own research really, and it's also why I'm not doing any paid stuff. So the stuff that James is sending me for the Drowned Earth, I'm not getting paid for that stuff. I said to him today basically that there's no charge for that kind of stuff, but I will be honest with what I say. So and I just said that basically it allows me to not feel like I have to say nice things about things because I'm waiting for a paycheck coming in again, like another month. So yeah, that's the way I'll be doing things. And I think you folks appreciate that as well. That's why support from Patreon and support from the community is what makes this all work really, and it means that I haven't got to rely upon saying nice things about companies like that don't necessarily deserve it really. When I say companies like that, I don't mean the Drowned Earth. I mean the Wolfenstein folks. So. And I think Tiberius was just saying there, yeah, let's say what it is. It's an advert. It is an advert, mate. George has just popped in as well. He's painted his Rune Wars Amelin Sion as a Forest Warden today. Nice, mate. 4 minutes using 2 contrasts. Hate to say it, but they are the answer to great plastic hordes. Yeah, they can be. They certainly can be, mate. They certainly can be. And anything that gets minis on the table can't be a bad thing. Or painted minis, I should say. Anything that gets painted minis on the table can't be or isn't a bad thing. So, So yeah, all I'm doing, folks, you can see I'm just kind of highlighting this up now, really. Picking out bits, trying to leave some of the shades in there as well. I've got some more to do on the front here, but because there's some kind of quite deep well parts in there, the wash is still drying on it, so I don't want to screw it up. So yeah, I'll wait for those little bits, I think. What can I do in the meantime? Let's have a look. Let's get in there with a little bit of red and stuff in the little dials and that. Where we at? Beauty Cities, we'll back to terrain-based Kickstarter, see what happens. Yeah, I've backed a few. First one I ever backed was The Walking Dead, to be fair, and I've been more than happy with how that panned out. I'm sure there's other people who've had some disasters as well. Where we are, Cloud saying all good, paint stuff. Kevin says no secret stuff, Andy. He's still thinking of making assets for isolation times. Vanguard and Vassal. You, Kevin, are doing it a service to the community, mate. You're just pouring love into that stuff. So thank you very much, mate. Right. Here's where I go quiet when I try and do a little bit of detail work. I think somebody mentioned the other stream. It's the equivalent of turning the radio down when you're trying to park the car. I've got to go quiet when I'm doing stuff. VJ said, unfortunately, that's the one I can't get free rules to check out. Which one's that, mate? Conflict 47. Yeah, I've got the rules for that, mate, to be fair. My Warlord gave me a set when I was down there. Lever said he's busted out the basic materials now. This hobby talk has swayed me into doing some. Yes, that's what it's about, mate. Mark was saying, Mantic Customer Service Elvis, he's a one-man show. He is, mate. He's a really nice guy as well, actually. I've been fortunate to meet him a couple of times when I've been to Mantic for kind of like open days and bits of stuff like that. He's just such a nice guy. Yeah, he does a cracking job for those. Where are we at? Tony said he's had the occasional mispack and our boy Elvis rocks it, yeah. Dan says, what kind of stuff is in your new podcast? So, mate, I was just saying there at the start, you might have missed it. I've been chatting to someone to record an episode, and I don't want to say who it is yet because he has agreed to do it, but it hasn't come off yet. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's somebody I'm a big fan of, really, and I watch a lot of his stuff. So it'd be nice to see that one, mate. And I've also got Christian as well. Christian, me and him have been planning to record one as well. So somebody in the community talking about kind of like D&D and stuff as well, stuff that I don't know a lot about, trying to understand more about D&D, about what gets him in the hobby. He's also kind of into his 3D printing as well, so we'll touch on that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a mix, mate. Basically, of it's gonna be a mix of like community folks, hobbyists, people in the industry, yeah, bits and pieces. Tiberius is saying, Beast of War, you know they're getting paid because they sound like they're on Bid TV or QVC. To be fair, mate, they're that's their business. That's what they do. I wouldn't say they're always upfront about it, but they don't hide it either. To be fair, they don't pretend it's not paid content. And at the end of the day, they've got staff to pay. They've got running costs. They've got a huge community of backstagers who all appreciate what they do. So all power to them, mate. To be fair. If they're making a business out of tabletop gaming, and it's working for them, like I say, all power to them, mate. I'm not going to knock them for that. Where are we at? Devon says, paid reviews or impressions are a bit troubling. I'm fine with paid battle reports or strategy videos. The on-tabletop videos with warlords for bolt action got me into the game. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really, isn't it? It's because it depends upon how the kind of the demos of the games and stuff. when they tend to have the company there doing the demo, then it feels like, well, I'm showcasing the company are coming in and they're demoing the game and they're telling you why it's good. It's like kind of they're paying for the exposure, if you like. They're paying to get in front of people, and I get that. I do understand that. It's when it's a kind of a blatant kind of like sales pitch, really. That's when it gets a little bit grey and a bit muddy. But to be fair, on any Kickstarter, have a look on the Kickstarter page. You'll see lots of people doing reviews of the game, and quite a few of them will be paid reviews. And I always feel that's a little bit disingenuous when somebody sends like somebody for Kickstarter and they say like, oh, like just review this kind of thing. It'll go on the Kickstarter page. If they've been paid for that, I'd like to know about it, because at the end of the day, they're trying to get you to buy that Kickstarter. It is a sales pitch. Then it becomes really murky. It becomes really, really difficult to make an informed choice when you're not given the full information, really, to know whether somebody's getting paid to give you a sales pitch or whether it is a genuine kind of like it's a review that they believe in, really, I suppose. Oops, paintbrush is rolling away. What was that VJ saying? Andy, do you want me to DM your address for the Discord for my mug? Yes, I do, mate. Yes, I do. I have to design the mug first. I told you guys you would get a design that I will never do again. It's just the kind of like to celebrate the going full-time thing. So I just need to finalise that design. Hopefully I've got it on my little notice board there to do that tomorrow. So yeah, DM me your address, mate, and we'll get them sent out. And the same to who was it again? It was Krabby and it was Marco as well. Yeah, if you can do the same as well, that would be appreciated. Claudia's saying quiet mug thief. Glenn says, Andy, when you get a 2,000 point slow grower done for Kings of War, would you be interested in running another one for a different game? 100%, mate. 100%. You folks tell me what games they want to see them for. I'm always happy to do that kind of stuff. That kind of community stuff really interests me. I've enjoyed doing this Kings of War 1 because it's helped motivate me to finish my army as well. And at the end of the day, that's worth its weight in gold for me to get an army finished for a change. So yeah. If it's something I'm interested in and I'm motivated to paint an army for, let's do it. Let's do it. Where are we at? Mark Colley saying, just got in from work, no paint tonight, just chilling. Nice to chill, mate, and nice to see you. Always good to have you in. Always good to have you in, sir. This is just me going quiet again while I'm trying to do fanning on with bits. Winning isn't thieving. Dan says, don't get me started on paid Kickstarter reviews. I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about it, to be fair, because I've been asked to do a review of a game for Kickstarter in the past, and I have. They've sent me through where I've gone to video with them, and they've used my review on the Kickstarter page, which I was happy about. But then I also then find there were other companies who were on or other channels or whatever, who were on the same Kickstarter, on the same kind of Kickstarter page, and they'd been paid for theirs. And I felt like it instantly tarnished my opinion to make it look like I had been paid and hadn't disclosed it. And I would have liked to have known that prior to being involved, because partially, like, at that time, it would have been a case of, well, if you're paying them, you can pay me kind of thing. Or more likely, as I'm taking the mick a bit, more likely it would have been, actually, I don't really want to be involved in that, really, because or I would have been much more kind of obvious in my review that I hadn't been paid for it, and that it wasn't a paid review, unlike some of the others. It felt it made me look like I'd been paid and not disclosed it, which I wasn't happy about. What was that one? I just jumped on top of my screen and stuff. Hello Jim, he says, is your highlight colour the same as your base colour? No, mate. So I started with this, which was Sotek Green, and I used that as my base. And then I washed it with Agrax. The next one I'm using now is Temple Guard Blue, and then I'll go to a third highlight, which is Baroth Blue, and I'll use that one as a... So this is what I was saying, folks, about using that kind of that Citadel app to kind of use to pick those 3 colours out. It just really helps you. So those are the 3 colours that I use on all of my dwarfs, and you can kind of see it on this one here. You'll probably be able to see it on the head here. So basically you've got the darker colour to the outside, the lighter colour a little bit in. It kind of a bit washed out on the camera there, to be fair, and then a lighter colour through the middle, and you can see it a bit around the edges of here and in the kind of the chain scales at the back a little bit as well. There's kind of 3 shades in there as well, although like I see the light in here is kind of washing that out a bit. So yeah, those are the colours I'm using. Krabby saying Rick Astley on a mug. And what I might do, folks, because what I normally do is I normally get the mugs made, I get them sent to me because it's cheaper postage wise to do it that way, and then I send the mugs out individually because depending upon where you are in the world, it works out cheaper. So I save a few quid doing them individually like that. What I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to just design them and get them sent directly to you, because getting out and getting stuff posted at the minute's not perfect at the minute. So that gives me the opportunity to personalise each of the individual mugs. So I might even put your names on them. Cliff's in here, always hoping to be painting, but those pesky patients kept calling and sending messages. How very dare they, mate? How very dare they? Claudio is saying, Dead Zone slow grow. Some of my caps got stuck. Lee saying, Star Wars Legion slow grow. You know you want to. You know I want to. Yes. That could be a contender as well. Dead Zone's definitely up there for a contender. I don't know if Dead Zone's big enough to have a slow grow. That's the problem, unless we did like a 2-month slow grow or something like that. We could do some skirmish games, couldn't we? And do them over a shorter period of time, because the Kings of War one's over quite a chunk of time because of the size of the army that you need to paint. So that's an option as well. We could do something like that. Do some skirmish games, like get a Dead Zone one painted up over a couple of months or something like that. So, but yeah, Star Wars is another one I would definitely consider as well. Like, Krabby's saying a 40k army. I'm tempted, mate. I can't say I'm not tempted. At the minute, it's kind of completely off the table. I can't buy the stuff that I want to buy if I did buy stuff, because of the lockdown and because GW are not shipping and stuff, and I wouldn't get any games in. I think I'm hanging on to see what happens with 9th edition, to see if that really affects stuff, because then potentially I might kind of look into it. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes, mate. But if I don't do a full-on slow grow, though, I'll definitely get a small force together, mate, so we can have a game. Tony says, love doing watercolour method painting, but it involves a lot of drying time. Yeah, I found that doing it on live streams, it does involve a bit of drying time. Nice one, Skull Munchers in. Nice to see you, fella. Scott's just had a pizza delivered to work. Nice. Where's just jumped off me chat now. Derek Hoy says, Beast of War on tabletop certainly don't follow the ASA rules on making sure advertising is clearly identified. Yeah, I would not disagree with that, mate. I'm not gonna give anybody any other kind of channels or businesses even now because of my position. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time, but I completely agree, mate. I think it should be more. It should be made much more obvious that that there's money changing hands there. And to be fair, what it would do is when there's not money changing hands, then it makes it more genuine and it makes it more understandable. So yes, I would like to see some transparency there a little bit as well. But they do a good job. They bring a lot of people into the hobby. They get games in front of eyes that maybe necessarily wouldn't always get in front of eyes, because they're big enough that people will pay to be on there. So yeah, so I can criticise to an extent, but at the end of the day, if it's good for the hobby and they're employing people. People are happy with what they're doing. I'm not gonna sort of throw too much shade on that kind of stuff. Throw shade? God, I'm done with the kids now, aren't I? Where are we at? BJ says, by the way, has anyone got tried out the edging with watercolor pencils technique? I've not, mate. Somebody's told me about edge highlighting with charcoal, like with a pencil, with a graphite pencil. Gives a nice effect, but I've not tried that. Mark was saying King of Average doesn't get paid. I like most of his videos despite being overly negative at times. I struggle when some people tend to be negative for being negative's sake. Because at the end of the day, and this is something that for a lot of reviewers, really, I think sometimes reviewers can definitely get caught up in, because reviewers play lots of games, I think they sometimes get caught up, especially this is specific probably more so for board games, they tend to get caught up in the fact that not everybody or not a lot of the viewers have played lots and lots of board games as well. So just because it's not as good as X whatever the game is, like it doesn't make it necessarily a bad game. So I'm often a bit wary of sort of, sometimes reviewers are negative for negative's sake because it makes them stand out, and that kind of drama gets views and all that kind of stuff. I'm just much more about the positive stuff. I'd rather focus on the positive stuff, but be honest. Like if something was really bad, I'd be critical of it. But otherwise, I tend to try and focus on the good stuff. And take it from there, really. Where are we at? Scott says one of the lads is leaving his crew, so farewell dinner. What line are you working on at the minute then, Scott? Whereabouts are you working? Because I don't think I would actually know which line you work on, mate. Where are we at? Claudia says, I made up 3 accounts, so all 3 of you stole it. BJ saying, I have a list of few techniques I want to try out yourself. Washes, contrast over, zenithal. Yeah, edging Gundam markers. I've heard a lot about that, Gundam markers. So Gundam markers are basically, you know, the Japanese Gundam models, like the kind of like sort of mech robot things. They have a whole line of Gundam pens for basically kind of like edge highlighting them and stuff. Scott says, how much are mugs? I forget, mate, now. It's the shipping that's a bit of a killer, to be fair. But I don't sell the mugs. The thing with the mugs was always just they were meant to be a nice little something special that I only ever gave away to kind of Patreons or the prize winners or to people that's kind of helped me out with stuff or come to visit me or anything like that. Just they were nice little kind of one-off things, really. So yeah, so I've not been selling the mugs. Well, you know what we were talking about, folks, before about, you know, when you how would you know when you've gone too far? I think I'm almost getting to a point with this one where it's like I don't want to wreck it. I am going to put some colour into it as well. So basically, what I've got here is I'm happy with how the colour's going. It kind of like thematically, it kind of fits with that. I like that there's a lot of silver on it and stuff as well, but there's enough colour on it that just kind of makes it pop a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put so if you can see here on this model, you've got kind of like the red, orange on the ends of the guns, just gives a little focal point to it. I'm going to do the same here with these kind of little inlays inside the chest piece, just to kind of give it a bit of something to focus on. Peter saying, Mini's looking nice. Yeah, it's definitely a case of what we were talking about before, mate. Knowing when to stop, don't go too far. That's exactly what I'll be doing tonight. I think I'll be it'll be a case of not going too far with it. 100%. Where are we at? Robert Marshall says, a blackjack mug with my name on. Shut up and take my money. Yeah. I'd have to look into that kind of stuff at some point. I definitely want to. I'm still trying to get custom dice sorted out, but for whatever reason, the companies that do custom dice do not want to seem to speak to me. I've sent a few emails with like inquiries about can you do this, can you do that, and they never get back to me. I don't know how these companies make any bloody money. So, because I was going to do that for the Patreon rather than the mug after 6 months, I was going to do custom dice, but then it was taking so long to sort out. I just decided to do the mugs instead because I didn't want to delay it really. So, so you can kind of see where I'm going in with that. Let me just lift that a little bit closer. You can see where I'm going in with the red there, basically, just to try and make that pop a little bit. Where we are. Walking Dead, Scott says, Walking Dead Call to Arms slow grow. I think the problem with something like Call to Arms is it tends to be people who already have a lot of Walking Dead minis then go and kind of like pick up the rules book and stuff like that. Where the reason I did the slow grow for Kings of War was it's one of them games where I think people are genuinely interested in it. The rule set's really good, but I think people are just put off by the amount of models that they have to paint. And I think they kind of like they think it's like I like the idea of it, but I just don't think I could do it kind of thing. Where I think Walking Dead, I think it's manageable really. But if it's something, if we do like a skirmish game where you can pick, like for example, let's just take Vanguard or Warcry as an example. You can just pick up a box of stuff, or Dead Zone even. You can pick up a box of stuff, Dreadball even. You can pick up a box of stuff, paint them up and play the game, get straight into it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about, rather than trying to pick, oh well, I'll pick some minis from here, I'll pick some minis from there, I'll do all this kind of stuff. I want it to almost be like a cheap entry point. Like you can pick up like a Dead Zone Warband for like 30 quid and just like, you know, paint them up and do that. So I like the idea of doing that kind of stuff. It interests me, so as much as anything, it's fun for me to do as well. Claudio saying maybe make it every 2 weeks or 2 months or something. Yeah, I don't want it to be over with too quick, because the idea is you want to try and like build a community around it, and you want to try and get people interested. And the beauty with the Kings of War one is it's lasted long enough for people to come in like a month or two later as well. Like we're halfway through it at the minute. We're 4 months in, and people are still coming and joining up and kind of playing catch up. So that's been quite nice to see. I think the problem is if we do it too short, it's over and done with before you before anybody's kind of knows about it. So, but I'll find a way to do it, because it's definitely something we will do again. Because I've enjoyed running it. I've enjoyed being part of it really as well. And it's getting me painting stuff. I don't think I'd have ever really like gotten around to painting a full Kings of War army without this slow grow to give me the motivation. I mean, you folks know that I like to jump around from game to game. I've never had like a 2,000 point army in my life really, because I've never painted that amount of stuff. So this has been a huge motivation for me as much as anything else. So, yeah. Oh, let's just get these little bits at the back that I haven't done. Where else are we at? Tiberius is saying Burrows and Badgers slow grow is the horse that bolted in our crew. Do you know what it is? That Burrows and Badgers is also not a bad one as well. Where did all this chat come? Just flew off the top. Tony Cinebube for a Dead Zone one. John Estel says deadline Blitz week. Get a team on in a week. Yeah, that might be quite cool. Scott's saying Infinity Slow Grow. It's another option as well, to be fair. BJ saying the BlackJack mug with my name on it. Now that'd be competing with my Bugman's mug for Pride of Place. Claudia saying I pour my beer in my way to second my way to find a second place mug to hold back my tears. Marco saying, how are your Space Wolves going? To be honest, Marco, the Space Wolves are they're all pretty much done. I painted all of the Space Wolves I had, and I've got more than enough for a kill team, which is essentially where I got to with it. In fact, let me show you where they are. I'll show you them all because they're right behind me. Let's hope my microphone leads long enough here. Oh. Make sure they're in the right drawer. Oh, so this is my drawer full of stuff. So I've got so there's these guys. I've got there's 3 wolves there. I don't have to get them all out, like, but there's those wolves. I've got all my Primaris dudes, which was I forget what they're called now. Their ones were all done as well. There's my main fellas as well. They're all finished as well. So yeah, I got them all done. There's like a full squad. There's 5 of these guys. They're all done and finished. There's 3 of those wolves. So I think it's basically a start collecting box plus those 5. Forget what they're called now. These fellas with the grapple launchers and that. Somebody will tell me in the chat. There's like 5 of those plus a start collecting box. So they're all done, mate. They're all finished. I've also got my other kill team as well, which is my Ultramarines. They're all done as well. So my main dudes. So yeah, so I was gonna say I didn't give up on them, but 2 seconds. Oh. I ran out of Space Wolves to paint, so I did everything I planned to do, because I was going to do a 2,000 point army for that really, but to be honest, it was around the time where I think the rules were just, they would keep moving again. They would keep moving as fast as that would keep up. What's happening here? Emails coming out my mind here. Coming out my mind. Peter saying, talking to Mugs, do you have to be a $10 Patreon, or will member and $5 Patreon qualify? No, mate, it has got to be a $10 Patreon, because it's the only way I can track it, mate, to be fair. So it's all through Patreon. It just makes it easier for me to track. So, sorry about that, but YouTube doesn't allow me to to track properly how long people have been members and stuff. But if I can find a way to track both of those stuff separately, mate, I'll have a chat with you about it. But in fairness, it's I would encourage anybody that's kind of sort of like on the fence about stuff like that. If that's a driver for you, I would definitely encourage you to come across the Patreon, to be fair, and do it that way. This is where, see, we're at the point now where I'm probably going to balls it up. I'll go too far with something here. Trying to get that kind of stuff done. I didn't put the orange on yet, did I? Wild Rider Red we've had on it. Where's the orange I normally use? That one's too bright. I normally put Troll's Lair on. Oh, I've missed the one out, that's why. I normally go a bit higher with that one. Is that Wild Rider Red? Well, I've put that one on yet. Anyway, I'm just rambling to myself now, folks. Vicious said he loves his Bugman's mug. D-Meep, nice to see you, fella. Says, if GW was open and you could buy a 40k army, what faction would you go for? I don't know, if I'm honest. I don't know, because there's never really one that really kind of like grabs me as if there's oh, that's the one I'd definitely paint. Something that's not like a massive horde army, so I don't think I'd do something like orcs. I've tried to do Necrons in the past, and I found it was just they were too similar. I didn't really get any fun from painting Necrons, because it felt like almost like spray them silver and you're done. That was kind of how it felt. So I didn't really get a lot of enjoyment from painting them. I honestly don't know, mate. I honestly don't know. Maybe it's something I'll have to look into if that day ever comes. I do like Space Marines, to be fair, but what I need is really, I need somebody who knows what they're doing to kind of put me a list together, because I'm not really a list builder when it comes to games. I'm not like a math hammer type person. Like even with this Kings of War stuff, really, I started with what I had, and I've been painting that up and then seeing how I can make an army out of it. There's absolutely no tactics involved with what I'm doing here. No tactics whatsoever. And even the stuff that I've ordered from Mantic to finish off my 2,000 points, it's a legal army, if you like, but it's just the models I like the look of, to be fair. So I have no idea how it'll play. I'll probably play it on the table and find it absolutely garbage, but I'll have fun getting taken off the table. Matt saying Dead Zone to Firefight to Warpath slow grow. That could be interesting, mate, to be fair. Like grow your army over the three things. I've never played Warpath or Firefight, but they're games that don't really see a lot of coverage, do they? So who knows? Who knows? That might not be a bad shout. Something a bit different. You know, the games that people don't really get into or something. Yeah. We'll maybe have a think about that one. Stu saying design the 3 winners mugs. Done is the best colour. I like that phrase too much. I might have to use that for something else, I think. Type A is saying he's got the Gangs of Camor game, so seriously considering starting Dark Elf. That Gangs of Camor was a pretty decent game, actually, isn't it? Scott said he's on it as like, I didn't realise we weren't there. That's where I started my days, mate, when I first started at the company, working in that area as a shift manager. How things change, yeah. How things change. Graphite pencil for metallic sheen. Yeah, somebody else was telling me about graphite pencils. David Mackey pledged $10 via Patreon. Thank you very much, sir. I thought you were already on Patreon. Have you upped your Patreon, have you? I thought you were already on Patreon. Yeah, you did. You just edited it. Thank you very much, mate. You just upped your pledge. Much appreciated. I'll tell you what I am going to do, folks, because Christian's not here to help me out, and I feel like a shill, but I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to link you to my Patreon as well, should anybody see this. That way you can all see it, because a lot of you folks are already in there, but then people do watch this back later on as well. And I'm not just trying to solicit money from folks. This actually is my job now, and it's support from the community that keeps me independent. Means I can't give all these people that are getting paid for reviews. I can give them all a hard time because I'm not one of them. It keeps me independent, and it keeps me making content that is community driven as well. So like stuff like these painting streams, most channels don't do this because it doesn't drive any views, it doesn't drive subscribers, that kind of stuff. These are for you. These are to, for us to engage, for us to have a cool time and hang out together. So that's what it's all about. So thank you to everybody that does help make this dream a possibility. Well, do I want to go any further with this? I feel like the axe is a bit bare. Let me just show you. I feel like the axe is a bit bare, but I don't really know what to do with it. I don't want to ruin it. I've kind of picked up some light blue here I've picked up some light blue on some kind of edge, and I think I'll do that on both sides of that because I've missed it off one side, just to really just to give it something rather than just a plain axe. I haven't got the steadiest of hands, to be fair, so it's more just a almost give the impression of a little bit of colour, like a little bit of frost axe type thing or something. Obviously these are all based with snow as well, so and I'll maybe get a little bit of dry brush and a little bit of silver onto those as well. Let's give it a blue hilt as well. We'll start with the darker blue and give it a bit of a blue hilt, I think. I think we might give it a red handle as well. Just little bits that just give it a bit of spot colour. No, I'm not going to wreck it with a blue handle. You know, when you get an idea and then you go, nah, that's stupid, I'm not going to do that. Where are we at? Let's have a look. We've got some chat in here. Where are we at? Crabby Vision says he looks like, yeah. John saying live eye painting, God, yeah. Crabby Vision says he looks great, mate, to be honest. Yeah, I'm kind of happy how it's turning out, really. I just, like, let me get a bit closer to the camera so you can see it a little bit. I'm kind of happy. This is what I mean, folks, about sometimes you don't have to go, like, over the top with it. Like, that's just a base coat and a wash, and then just picking out certain areas just to kind of give it a little bit of something that draws the eye. It's not, like, it's not blended, it's not perfect, but on the table, and when you think of the size of it in comparison to, like, to this, let me put it there, like, in comparison to that on the table, like, it's more like looking coherent. It's more just like looking part of it. Peter says he often played Dark Elder in version 6, never won a game. David says, I've gone too far. I think I've now got my first shipwreck for Black Seas. I know what you mean, mate. Sometimes you can just go too far. Skullmuncher used to be a Dark Elder player back in the day. Still got his stuff. Oh, you snapped the bowsprit. Is there any way you can kind of rescue that, mate? Steve saying, I've got all the Dead Zone factions painted already. We'll need to think of something, mate. We'll need to think of something to do. And Tony saying, problem with Walking Dead is it's quite niche. Would rather see a sci-fi version or slow grow. Yeah, I'm kind of like that, Tony, as well. I think after doing something in fantasy, do I do something sci-fi to kind of to balance things out, get the folks that are not into fantasy involved. Tiberius says, over and done with before anyone knows about it. I like Kill Team. I mean, like painting kind of thing, mate. Not actually the game. VGC, did you see Doug 2+2's Warcry solo rules? I did see that he'd been doing them, mate, but I've not actually seen anything in depth yet. Anyway, Claudio's saying, Steve, you don't count. Yeah, you need to paint a full army in 44mm scale, mate. Craig saying, what about bolt action slow grow? I imagine Warlord would support that. I don't know if Warlord would, but keep an eye on my videos coming up soon, mate, when it comes to bolt action. Terry says, thanks for an interesting and stress relief evening, but have to get some shut-eye. Take care, mate. Thank you, Terry. Really appreciate you coming in, mate, and thank you for your donation as well earlier on tonight. Hugely appreciated. Mark was saying, Reavers, that was it. Mark was saying they look amazing. Yeah, I was quite happy with how they turned out, mate, to be fair. Reavers, thank you very much. Jim saying, what was your snow mix for the bases? I think the basis for the Space Wolves, mate, was just the GW Valhallan Blizzard. Just kind of like put on there. I really like that Valhallan Blizzard stuff. Krabby saying the Star Collecting box out now for Wolves would give you a solid force added to that, mate. I didn't realise it changed, mate, to be fair. Claudio saying, in 6 months I sit here with my Patreon BlackJack mug, Dead Zone Special Edition. I tell you what, mate, I'll give you a Dead Zone Special Edition one if that's the case. Adam Eggers in, nice to see you. Adam, how you doing? Kieran saying, is the Kings of War slow grow looking towards a big get together when it's done? If you're getting a new army after carrot dangled. So the idea was, mate, there was actually a big get together planned for this month. It was actually this weekend. It was going to be on Saturday. And the idea was it was a halfway point to try and keep people motivated. So if we can get a halfway point, get 1,000 points, everybody get together and we play some 1,000-point games. And at that point, even if you'd never played before, it was a bit of an intro. It was Mantic had arranged to have it at their HQ as well. So we were all going to go to Mantic. Everybody was going to get a free mini and stuff. But unfortunately, with the lockdown, we just canned it. So I got to a point where it was organised. I was ready to announce it because I know Steve kept prodding me for more information. And it got to a point where it was like, hang on, this is like, I think this was back in February time. Things were starting to kind of like look a bit shaky, if you like. So we decided to hold off on announcing anything like the official details. And then basically what happened was like obviously everything went into lockdown, so it never happened. But yeah, it was that was the point, mate. So there was going to be a get together. It was going to be halfway through. But yeah, there's nothing to stop us kind of doing that kind of thing again, mate, to get people together. And I'm sure Mantica are open every weekend normally when things are not in lockdown. So there's nothing stopping us having our own little get together as well. We can meet at Mantica HQ or somewhere like that. Tony Howell says, Mark was saying that new AdMech vehicles and cavalry are awesome. I've always quite fancied painting like some of the flyers and stuff from 40k because there's some nice big models. Mark says the AOS factions are more interesting visually. Yeah, I think that might be the case as well. Tony saying go Patreon and join the chat if it's not your thing, and you only have to make one contribution and opt out. Yeah, the Patreon, like Tony says there, you can just pledge for 1 month. You can $2. Come in, see what the Discord chat's like, hang out with all these folks every day. If it's not for you, just cancel it. That's it. Even if you just want to do a one-off donation, you can do it that way as well. Probably say I'm going to be doing Custodes Force at some point. Sticks with Imperium. You're a force for good, mate. Luke says I would reignite my Tyranids again. Love them. Wow, that would be a full paint, mate, wouldn't it? VG saying list building is the most boring part of the game. Yeah, I just don't enjoy the list build, mate, if I'm honest. It's I just don't enjoy it. Where was this? It's just shut off the top of my screen, that's why. VJ's saying, as long as the army's legal, just go for the minis that look awesome. Yeah, that's the point. I think getting started in it, I don't even know what's legal and kind of stuff. VJ says I would buy a Done is the best colour t-shirt. That's why I think I was keeping that, really. I think I will do a t-shirt for that one. David saying just upped it after that mug. Thank you, David. Much appreciated. VJ saying love mine, never mind the Mold Lines t-shirt. I wear it with music gigs and people always comment thinking it's Sex Pistols t-shirt. Yeah, I like it, mate. I like it too. I'm saying that's why we like you. Oh, King John saying solicit. Somebody told me, I think it was who was it again? It was Palmsy was telling me. He said you've got to stop telling people not to donate. Like it's your job now. You just people understand. Don't worry about it. But it still feels weird. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But it's early days, isn't it? Fiji says when I manage to get back to work after the virus, I'll be up my pledge. Let's hope everybody just gets back to work normally. Never mind the pledge stuff, mate. Just yeah. Maybe a red light on the other highlight on the axe. Yeah, I think it could maybe do something, but I don't know if it'll kind of imbalance it. That's all I'm thinking. I don't know if it'll kind of unbalance it out. No, I'm not gonna wreck it. I'm not gonna go too far. I feel like I want to maybe put like some kind of brass work or something into. I might do that actually. I've got a nice brass colour. Just to kind of give a little bit of difference to the pipes on the back or to these kind of tanks or something like that. Let's see where that is. I think this is it here. I think it's Warlock Bronze. Where are we at? T-Red says, has anyone seen the top of my glue? Dwarf on stilts, yeah. Looks good, mate. Looks a bears, love that colour. Looks great. Thanks, folks. Cliff said he started a slow grow Orc 40k army. That would be slow for me, mate. Tiberius is saying Gates of Antari slow grow. It's supposed to be getting a new edition, mate, isn't it? It's kind of all going to be quiet on that front. K47. I suppose you could do kind of Conflict 47 along with bolt action as well. I need to understand more about that, to be fair. I don't really know how the forces and stuff work with them. King John saying Star Breach. Then you can pick what you want. There is that, to be fair, mate, as well. There's nothing stopping people sort of painting that kind. I wonder how I can. I'll have to think about how I could maybe do something that opens it up to a wider audience as well. Scott's on about bolt action, slow grow as well. David saying catch you later. Thanks, David. Much appreciate you increasing your pledge as well. Thank you so much, sir. VJ saying he did a 10-minute summation of his rules and released a PDF last night. Yeah, I saw he'd done a video, maybe I've not had time to watch it yet. Steve saying, yeah, don't remind me. Peter said he was thinking of doing his snowballs without a snow effect. I just did mine because I think I like it. That's why I've done these dwarfs with snow effect. I just like doing them, to be fair. Where we're at. Space Wolves deserve a vacation. Go Tropical Island. Yeah, sandy bases. Adam says, I'd like my work to start making some money again, so I don't have to worry about the boss will shut it down. Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff going on at the minute, isn't it, mate? It's a horrible situation for a lot of people, and honestly, it's tough times. It certainly is, mate. And we're not through the worst of it yet either. Space Wolves in flip-flops. Dan says, right off the bed. Thanks for calling in, Dan, mate. Nice to see you. Speak soon, fella. Yeah, so what I'm doing, folks, I've gone for a bit of bronze just on the back of this pipe in here, just to give it a little bit more of a focal point, because I felt like it was just like one big block of silver coming all the way around here. And I think what I'll also do is I'll do a bit of bronze on here as well. Just like I say, just to break it up a little bit. Yeah, that's just kind of picking them out a bit. Pomsy says I need to do double screen and check Midwinter Minis video to continue with my Chaos Beastman. You're following his painting schemes, mate, yeah. Nicely done, nicely done. George says, nice chaps, catch you later. Keep doing what you're doing, Andy. Thanks for that, much appreciated. VJ said, give him Hawaiian layers. That's the way, mate. Give them the full-on Hawaiian treatment. So, folks. Oh, God. How's everybody doing? You holding up all right? You all flagging now? You getting a bit tired? What time is it now? 20 to 11. We'll certainly crack on till minimum 11. I'll see how I'm doing painting wise. I think because I'm almost done on here. This is what I mean. I mean, I've managed to kind of. I'm pottering around. I'm talking on the stream and stuff as well. Kind of just doing bits and pieces really, but you don't have to take forever over minis really. I mean, this is 220 points of my slow grow campaign done here tonight. And this is what I mean about if folks still want to dive in and give it a go, you want to try and catch up. Yes, there's going to be some units to paint and stuff, but at the end of the day, like your hero models, like there's certain models you can paint in next to no time that'll catch you up quick. So yeah, don't be put off by it if you haven't taken part yet. All right, folks, oh, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get that red on there as well. So you see it on the front of his helmet. You might not be able to see it. There's kind of some little jewel things here. I'm just gonna pick those out in the red as well. Make sure I've got. We'll pick them out. Matt Mountain, thank you very much for the donation, mate. He says model looks great, mate. Thank you very much. Coming from you, mate, that means a lot because I am not a painter. I'm a hobbyist. I'm a gobshite, to be fair. I talk a lot. I ain't very good, but yeah, coming from you, mate, that's much appreciated. Thank you very much. I have to remember there's a slight delay when it pops up on there as well. Thanks, buddy. Krabby says I definitely need some hazard stripes or checkered flags. No pressure. It ain't getting anything like that on here, mate. Deep Red's found his glue top. Nice one. VJ says flip-flops and layers that give them beer bongs. King Johnson is almost done delivering. Then an hour drive back to Amarillo. I am going to resist. I'm going to resist the pun that's just hanging out there. In fact, no, I'm going to say it anyway. You might have to pull over and just ask anybody if that's the way to Amarillo. Adam says, create an Excel spreadsheet for all his customer email addresses so we can give them updates about the business. Super fun. Yeah, super fun, mate, but super important there. Yeah, Krabby Vision, I had to do it as well. I used to know this one. Yeah, I just sometimes it's just hanging out there. It's just, I'm sure King John has never heard that before either. I don't even know if it was a big song in the States. It certainly was over here. Yeah. I think I'm screwing that up, folks. We'll tidy that up with a bit of silver. Let's get the orange highlight on there first, and then we'll tidy it up with a bit of silver. This is where I need a toothpick, folks. Right, this might go off camera because I need to get close for it. I need to focus on it. Pomsy saying say hi, sweet to me for me. Yeah, I knew I could rely on you a lot, not to miss that, one. Where's my silver? Is there a Kings of War solo player mechanic? There's not, VJ, unfortunately, mate. It's a bit of a too big a mass battle game for that, I think. But it's weird. I think it's because of the bright lights there. I'm trying to focus. Hang on, 2 seconds, folks. Right, I need to focus on this one. It's really hard when the lights have been in my eyes. It makes my eyes hard to focus on something close. There we go. There we go. Right, I get what we got here. We've got a Runefang steel. Let's try and put a little bit of. VJ says would certainly help his motivation to get cracking on. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It's tough, isn't it, when it's so reflective. It's weird. I've got like a ring light here, and then obviously bright lights here above me as well to light this all up. But when I'm staring at the camera to talk to you lot, my eyes kind of like obviously shut down because of that, and then I instantly look down and start painting again, and it's weird. Kieran Morris plays $2 via Patreon. Thank you, Kieran Morris. Hugely appreciate. We will see you very soon in the Discord, mate. Thanks for joining. Right, a little bit of dry brushing, folks. I think we're gonna just put a little bit of dry brush around the edge of the axe. Just brighten up the handle a little bit as well. We'll do a little bit around the top here as well. Just go on there, and then I think I'll call that one pretty much done. Because I don't want to wreck it, I don't want to go too far. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the base here. What I'm going to do with the base is I'm going to use Celestra Grey. So this was, remember that was contrast paint over the top of it. We'll, Mark was in the head shone straight into my retina. think about me, mate, I've got that every day. And then we'll a little bit more to come off. We'll just give a bit of texture to that. I mean, there's going to be a bit of snow on it as well, and the base will the miniature will cover it as well a little bit. It's just to get a little bit of interest on it. That's that one. Wash that brush. These are the dry brushes from Artist Autos as well, the Series D ones. Obviously, it looks like a bit of a mess at the minute because it needs cleaning up now, but they've got quite a few different sizes and stuff. Actually, they're quite nice. I like the way they're kind of domed to the end. You can get some really nice like stippling effects with them as well. So that's that one. Right, folks, I think it's time for a bit of snow. A bit of snow. I do need a piece of paper. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got 2 bits of paper here. Let's, have I got anything else I can use? No, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just... So we'll get my glue and get my snow. So this is the snow I'm using at the minute. This is a really old Citadel snow, and I'm actually getting worried that I'm going to run out of it soon. That's the problem. But where's my cork? We'll use the cork, I think. We might actually get this entire mini finished tonight, which would be unbelievable, Jeff. Crabby Vision says, what brush cleaner are you using, mate? I mean, other than water, mate, I'm using an Artist Autos brush soap as well. It came with the brushes. So basically just a little bit of water, Just rounding the soap, and then just kind of clean it out. I'll let it sit in for a bit actually normally, but not with the dry brushes. Just kind of bring it out. So that's what I'm using, fella. That's what I'm using. And I tend to just clean all my brushes at the end of a session, really. So right, this is just cheap Wilkinson's PVA glue. I bought this ages ago, and then I just keep. I bought a big tub of it, a big tube, like a big bottle of it as well, and I just keep topping it up. So I'm just going to put some onto here. You're getting the full works tonight, folks. You're getting even the basin doing as well. Normally I don't get that far. I'm getting better at painting and talking. The first week I did it, I got absolutely 2/10 of nothing done. I just wasn't used to kind of painting and talking at the same time. I'm starting to get used to it now, and I'm also starting to choose minis that I think I've got a standard chance of actually getting some stuff done. So yeah, folks, I'm just using this as a really old, cheap kind of craft brush. Probably something I've gotten like out of like one of my son's little art set type things or something like that. It's just for using for PVA glue. I always just wash it out and reuse it as well. So just you don't want to wreck your good brushes for moving glue around. So give that a wash. And then essentially what I'm going to do is, I would normally do this like over a big sheet of paper so that I can sprinkle it back in with the bits that come out, but I forgot to get a big sheet of paper tonight, didn't I? So I tend to just get a handful of it, just crumble it a bit like an OXO cube, really, just crumble over the top. And just do that, really, just. And then what I normally do with this is I would spray it with what's it called, like a matte varnish, just to kind of seal that down, and then sprinkle another layer on it while it's still wet. But I'm not going to do that, I don't think, at the minute, because I think I'm quite happy with how that looks. And then I don't really want I might put a little bit of snow onto the tiles, onto these when I'm finished, but we'll stick with this one first. So there was a way around I wanted this one, and I can't remember which way around it was. Was it that way? Or was it that way? I think it was that way. Right, let's get some super glue on the fella. Matt says he's finishing off basing his Empire of the Dead vampires and start painting them tomorrow. Are you playing Dracula's America, mate, or have you just got something just to paint for a bit of a change? Ben Davey, good morning to Ben Davey. How are you doing, fella? Adam's saying, which mini is this? This is the Steel Juggernaut for Kings of War, mate. You're seeing moaning from Australia, the clock changes and making it hard to get these streams. Yeah, sorry, mate. Krabby's been using the Masters, but I actually was going to buy the Masters one, mate, but to be fair, I never got round to it, and I got the Artis Opus stuff in the set. So just very precariously super gluing it down now. Mr. Tracy says, "Snow, you're using sort of sandy or almost fluffy kind." Yeah, it's almost looks like kind of like little. It's kind of, it's fluffy. It's like little fibers. I don't know. I doubt you'll be able to see it. I'll try and kind of show it a little bit better on camera. Actually, I might be able to show it better there on camera. If I might be. See what I mean about it? It's kind of like little fibers as opposed to kind of like sandy grains, if you like. Yeah, that's it. Usually saying PV in a spray bottle, maybe. I've actually got the matte spray, mate. It's over there. I can't be asked to undo my microphone and go over there and get it, to be fair. So I normally put a couple of layers of it on. So what I'll probably do is I'll spray this when the stream's finished and just to lock it all in, really. But believe it or not, folks, I've actually finished a model on the stream. Yeah, there we go. Let me just come in a bit closer. What I'll do is it's probably a bit late tonight, but tomorrow I'll get a shot of him alongside the rest of the army. And I quite like how these two little bits of red on here and the bit in the top here as well just seem to kind of pull the focus to the face. But yeah, it's basic. There's nothing like I haven't done any special blending or anything like that. But I just when you look at it like as a whole force together, I'm just really happy with how it's pulling together. So I'll tell you what I am going to do, folks, while we're on the stream here. Let me grab another. So these are my two cannons that I painted the other day. And then I realised tonight when I was getting my paints out, I'd forgot to highlight with the brightest blue on their clothing. So I'll do that while we're sitting here finishing off the stream. I forgot to highlight with the highest blue on this one, so we might as well just very quickly fill these in. Is this the way that Amarillo? Mr. Trailer Guy says, nice, thanks, it looks very good, thank you. Scott saying, you want my tub of GW snow? I tell you what, mate, if you've got some, I'll take it off your hands, because you can't buy it anymore, I don't think I can get the same stuff, and I'm just a bit worried that I'll run out of it before I get the army finished, and I'll have to try and source something online that's similar. And that would be a nightmare if I can't. Where are we at? Luke saying, looks great, Andy. Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you. No doubt I'll get to see what you've been up to as well, mate. I always like to see your pictures in the Facebook group, see what you've been painting, mate. Rick Astley's no stranger to Amarillo. VJ, time to get some hobby before you start working from home. I tell you what, mate, when you're working from home, it's a killer, isn't it? Once you start and get the hobby stuff out, it's like, oh, well, I could just do a little bit more. It's the start of the end when that happens, isn't it? People having a bit of a chat backwards and forwards. I'll let you lot just have a bit of a ramble while you're on. So, does anyone know if you can buy a joblet of corks without buying Prosecco? I've had a look, but I can't find any. I tell you what, mate, drop me a shout tomorrow. Let me know how many you want, and I'll pop some in the post for you, because I have plenty. Let's just say. As we all know, I used to work for a wine company, so I didn't just suddenly drink lots and lots of Prosecco as well. I did used to have the corks from work. Where else we at? Scott's saying I used the Woodland Scenics one, mate. It's pretty much a full tub. Yeah, in that case, mate. Yeah, let's cut a deal. Let's cut a deal, mate. So like I say, I'm a bit worried that. I think I bought this like years and years ago when I first got into the hobby, and I don't think I'd ever used it. And when I started doing these, I thought, oh, I think it was because I didn't have enough. Like when I was doing big bases like this, I normally use that Valhalla Blizzard, but I was never going to use them Valhalla Blizzard tubs for big bases like this. I decided to use the snow, and then very quickly realised, oh damn, can't buy it anymore, and I've already started now. So that was a worry. Peter said, I bet you have the empty bottles, mate. No, I don't. I definitely don't have the empty bottles, that's for sure. But I was looking for beer bottles to do my home brew, and I couldn't believe how bloody expensive it was trying to buy empty beer bottles. Like with you know, you can't buy Grolsch bottles in the UK anymore. They've stopped making Grolsch in the UK and stopped selling it. So those bottles with the little swing top caps, you can't get them anymore. I'm gonna have to buy like a capper and stuff, like and recap beer bottles, I think. Peter saying I get my Cokes at Tesco. Yeah, me as well, mate. They come with free wine as well. It's like £6 for a Coke and you get a free bottle of wine with it. VJ is saying that. Yeah, D-Meat was saying if you want the Coke for basing under hot pans, yeah, I use them as well, mate. I've used those for loads of stuff. They're brilliant. And they're nice and thick as well, and they're quite chunky, so they actually break up like really nicely as well. Tiberius says IKEA sell them bottles. Yeah, but they're closed at the minute, mate. They're not open, are they? Matt's saying he's got a lot of his Empire Dead models. Always loved them. Want to try and help reboot the game after lockdown. I'll take a look at Dracula's America. I assumed Empire of the Dead. I didn't realise that was a game, mate. To be fair, I didn't realise that was the case. So I'll have to check that out, mate. You now get treated to me washing my brushes out now, folks. I might as well wash them while we're sitting chatting here, rather than me turn the camera off and then wash my brushes out. So might as well kill that for a little bit more. Where are we at? Claudio's got a quick heads up. Really loving these streams. Unfortunately enough, I don't really care if they get this late. I'm sorry. I always forget, folks, that like, you know, not everybody's on different time zones and stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, it's like it's still late in the UK as well. If people are up for work in the morning or stuff like that, or they've got kids and they're getting up. So I do appreciate you folks kind of just chilling and hanging out. But I'm also conscious as well that 2 streams a week as well, 2 live streams is obviously like a lot for people to commit to as well. So I don't want to kind of overstay my welcome and things. So we'll review these as they go on. Lockdown's a bit of a different situation at the minute, but if people want me to keep going with them and people are enjoying them, I'm more than happy to keep doing them in the future. We'll certainly stay for the kind of the short term while the lockdowns are on and stuff. But what I don't want to do is kind of overstay my welcome, if you like. So, because at least if I do just like a normal video, you can watch it whenever you want. You know, if I'm like reviewing something or if it's a painting tutorial or something, you can obviously you can come back and watch them whenever you want, and you've not missed anything. But I am conscious that these may be fine just to have on in the background and stuff, but I guess the joy of them or the enjoyment of them has been part of them and being able to interact in the chat. So yeah, we'll see how they go. We'll see how they go, like a lot down the line and stuff. But I'm happy to keep going with them. Where are we at? IKEA mail order. I didn't think IKEA was still doing mail order. I mean, I thought, actually, no. Have you seen the price of IKEA mail order? It is an absolute fortune. They've just got like a set fee, which is about 20 quid or something stupid. So no, no. I'd rather just buy. It's a lot easier for me to buy bottles of beer with beer already in them and worry about doing my homebrew when lockdown's finished, than it is to spend the kind of money that IKEA want for me to get some empty bottles sent out. To be fair, I'll be able to get them cheaper in somewhere like Amazon, but they weren't as cheap as I expected. That was all. So by the time I've paid for empty bottles, it would have been cheaper to buy beer. Where are we at? Ben Davies says, glad I got to see the basin at least. I need to up my game after seeing the stuff Luke Pryor shared this week. Honestly, mate, basin is something I'm a big fan of. You can up a very average paint job with a really nice base, and I think you can wreck a really nicely painted model with like without even doing a base basically. So I'm a big fan of putting a little bit of effort into basing. Mr. Trainer Guy says, is there anything you are looking forward to in general, or painting, creating? Love the videos, bud. Thank you, mate. I am. So this week I've been starting to kind of look like get into the business side of things and reaching out and speaking to companies and getting in contact with them and looking into all that kind of stuff. So fortunately, there's a few companies got back to me very, very quickly and said that they would love to kind of have their stuff sort of featured on the channel. So there's a few things that I won't say what they are in case anything happens and stuff, but you'll see them when they come on the channel. So there's companies want to send me stuff out to kind of to look at, to review and paint and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to all that kind of stuff. And like I say, I'll tell you who they are when they arrive, because they might change their mind and not send them. Why is that little holder too big for that paint? That's over there, that's why. So I'm looking forward to that. Because what it means is, it means I get to look into games that I wouldn't necessarily kind of spend my money on because they're expensive. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't buy every single game that's out there. So by getting companies to send me this stuff, it means I'm still independent. I'm still unbiased in my opinion. But I get to kind of have a look at them for you, like for you folks, and I get to tell you what I think of them. I get to tell you, if you like this game, you might like this. If you don't like this kind of game, you probably won't like this kind of thing. And it means that I get content to put in front of you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. Let me just flick back to where we are, main monitor. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff, really. But yeah, I just, to be honest, I'm just looking forward to getting back into into that content swing. It's difficult at the minute with like having the little one at home and stuff as well, with nurseries being closed. But I'm looking forward to just getting that really that almost creative energy. Just like when I used to make 5 videos a week, I got into a routine where I didn't second guess my videos. I didn't second guess my ideas. It was just a case of, right, I'm just going to do it. And you get into like a creative mindset of just ideas just bubbling away and just like one on top of the other. It's really easy to get out of that when you have to step back from it for a little while. And I was looking forward to Adepticon to really kind of just like fire me back up again, back into that creative set, being surrounded by miniatures games, being surrounded by people who love miniatures games. I was looking forward to that to kind of to fire me up again. And the lockdown's kind of coming at a weird time. What has fired me up really, I think, this last week is obviously going full time, being able to share that with you. Everybody's support has been unbelievable. Honestly, there's still like the nice things and all of the support. The Patreon's gone up hugely, and people's live stream donations has gone up massively as well. All that kind of stuff's really kind of blew my mind. But then reaching out to some of these companies and these companies getting straight back to me and saying, yeah, absolutely, love to kind of help you out, love to support you in what you're doing, and that's been really nice as well. I mean, some of them. Adam's just saying at the end there, these companies happy to give you free stuff even though you're honest, might not like it. Absolutely, mate. What they've said is basically they just want they want me to be honest about it. There's no like, and I've said basically I'll be honest about it, and they're saying that's absolutely fine. That's what we want. Like there's no pretense of like if you say something nice, we'll send you something else or anything like that. I think they like the fact that the community here is really strong, and that everybody likes lots of different games. Like there's a lot of communities are really focused on, say, Lord of the Rings, or really focused on 40k, or really focused on Age of Sigmar. And I think they like the fact that actually they see that by not being one of those games, that it's a bit of an uphill struggle sometimes, and that actually they want to get in front of an audience and in front of people who are willing to give them a fair crack of the whip if the game is something that they think they'll like. So yeah, everyone seems really up for it. One company was asking, like, you know, we can send you some stuff for giveaways and stuff for the channel, and so yeah. But it's all under the understanding that it's like, you know, if I don't like it, if I'm really struggling with a game and I don't enjoy it, or the minis are not very good quality, or whatever it is, then I'll tell you that kind of thing. Like I will be honest about it, and they all seem fine with that. So yeah, they all seem fine. Let me just very quickly flip back a little bit. Robertson, he's finished his basing, starting on his ATST for Legion, but he's got to go. Take care, Robert. Thanks for coming in, mate. Looking forward to seeing your stuff. Scott's saying looking forward to painting his Hacker Slam and Yujing if he can stay awake. Crabby says, I always feel I'm overstaying my welcome. Claire says, sometimes rewatching streams is as enjoyable as you can focus on the hobby. To be fair, there's been a few times when I've been sitting hobbying, I've put one of my streams on just because I'm like sycophantic like that. No, because I want to see what it's like to just kind of listen to. Is it something that I think is entertaining enough to warrant kind of like keeping these kind of things going and stuff like that? But the numbers are fine. Like the numbers. It's not like I'm getting like one person watching it or something like that. Like it seems to be all right. So Craig saying, before lockdown, I never watched your videos live, but because I don't have to be up for anything in the morning, I've started watching live. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that, mate. Scott says, I've been listening while I'm working. Hope you're doing it. It'll be something if you get in trouble for watching me, mate, while you're at work. D-Moop says that varies from country to country. I think previously they had a draft system here where the price went up to 10 times between one item and two. Right, okay, mate, we're talking about IKEA now, aren't we? I think in the UK, it's almost just like a standard fee. Like, it doesn't matter if you're getting like a bed delivered or you're getting like a coaster delivered. I don't think it makes a difference. Claudio saying, yeah, I'm one of the Patreons who doesn't get the double to go into the live chats and praise him like you lot. Doesn't get the double. One of the few Patreons it doesn't get. I don't know what that means, man. Beauty saying, I'm well off mail order at the minute. I'm still waiting for delivery since 23rd of March. Oh, I tell you what, mate, it's awful when you're waiting for something. Ben says, I'm a POM. He moved over 16 years ago. I didn't know that, mate, with his Australian wife. Dave says, now they go by weight and items depending upon which of a truck you occupy. I'll have to look. Maybe it's changed since the last time I had anything delivered. Ben says, I've got so many minis with nothing done on the bases. Hobby shame. There's no shame in it, mate, but I honestly think a base can really... A base... I know some people like to put like clear bases on them because they want them to match their mats and stuff. But I like to I almost like to create a story for my army, if you like. Like, the basing's important to me. Scott says you should run a scratch build terrain competition. I had thought about doing something, like, especially during lockdown, like, you know, like building terrain with the kind of with the rubbish you've got around the house and stuff. I had thought about that. Or seeing a trash terrain sort of thing. Yeah, something like that, mate. VJ says, so I brought the Mario Kart circuit for my son online this week, and I'm thinking on using the cars to do Mario Kart Gaslands. That would be awesome. I'd thought about, my son has all of the cars, you know, the Disney cars like Lightning McQueen. I thought about doing one of those on there, like a Lightning McQueen Gaslands race. That would be cool. Where are we at? So that was where Adam was saying, I'm happy to give you free stuff. Scott's saying it's free advertising for them, so why wouldn't they? Mark was saying variety is the clear USP of this community. It is, mate, and that's one of the reasons why this wouldn't work basically by... It wouldn't work by me trying to ask companies for money, because basically some of them are really quite small and don't have a lot of spare cash for kind of like marketing stuff and wouldn't be interested. I don't have big enough numbers, I think, to basically for them to be worth paying for it. That's why everybody goes to Beast of War, because they think, well, they've got like however many 100,000 subscribers. They've got that many subscribers, and they're going to get it in front of loads of people. It doesn't work like that, because basically the Beast of War viewers are not that engaged. They pick and choose what they want to watch a little bit, and like there's some people have paid good money to be on Beast of War, and their videos have had like 500 views. Like I can do 500 views. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that kind of stuff. But so yeah, what was I kind of saying? I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit there. That's why that business model doesn't work. The business model for me works with kind of all of the different streams of revenue, but the big part of it being community funded, because then it means I can do those obscure games for you that ordinarily if I just did one of them videos and it might get like 200 or 300 views on YouTube, which for me, if I've put like 2 or 3 days into making that video, it's almost not worth it for to put it onto YouTube and then I essentially make about 20p in ad revenue out of it. It's almost like, oh, well, I won't do that again kind of thing. And this is why you don't see people doing them. the difference with this channel being community funded is, if 200 people watch that, then that means 200 people in my community have enjoyed it. And the community fund me to keep doing those games that maybe don't get to see the light of day. And I think that's where this really has got legs, but it just needs to be sustainable, and it is at the minute. Like, it's heading that way at the minute. Whether it'll still be that way in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, who knows? It depends on how much stuff I get through that you enjoy, and how much the community grows enough to bring more people in. But yeah, it's going to be a fun journey either way. And I'll always be really transparent and really open, and I'll always tell you about how things are going and stuff. So, Peter saying they wouldn't make the game if they didn't think it was good. There is that, to be fair, and there's a lot to be said by saying that actually there's no bad games. There's just games that I like and games that I don't like, the same as you folks. Ben saying keep your integrity, keep your followers, stick to your guns, mate. That's it, mate. Like I said before, if this kind of thing doesn't work out, like a year or 2 years down the line, it won't be because I didn't do it the way I wanted to do it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to suddenly in a year's time go, oh well, it's not working, I'm going to start selling my soul to the devil, kind of thing. Tony says, I want honest info. I'm game agnostic, so I'm open to having a go at anything and enjoying the painting experience. If it's a mini that grabs my attention, I want to hear about it. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to bring to the channel in the coming weeks and months and in the future. I want to bring some of them games. I want to bring the kind of the mini agnostic games, like things like Starbreach, things like 5 Parsecs, things like Gaslands. I want to bring the games like Drowned Earth and other stuff like that have some fantastic miniatures in them, but probably don't get like the glory they deserve. They don't get to see like the kind of community, because most YouTubers or hobby YouTubers, they don't want to spend 2, 3, 4 days filming and editing something to get like 50 views or 100 views, when they know they can sit in front of a camera, talk about the latest Games Workshop releases for the weekend for 10 minutes and get like 1,000 views. So that's why you don't see those games on channels. This is a different channel. This is the whole point of it. If I'm getting, let's say for example, I've got 100 Patreons, and those 100 Patreons are interested in that video and they watch that video, then that's been worth making, because I've made something that those Patreons want to see. They're supporting me. I'm giving them the videos they want to make, and I'm enjoying making the videos I want to make. So the numbers I get are less important than potentially they are for other people. And I don't know how to explain that really. I mean, these live streams are great for being able to explain that kind of stuff, but it's not easy to get across to a wider audience really. So trying to sell my concept and what I'm trying to achieve with it all, sometimes it relies upon you lot as well to tell your friends and to share the message really. So where we are, so Peter said he usually puts sand on his mini base. To be honest with me, I put sand on 99. I put sand on these bases before I put the snow on. To be fair, I put sand on nearly all of my bases. Ben Davies says, don't they say faces and bases make models aces? I think it was Matt Mountain. It said to me, faces, bases, and banners. If you spend your time on the faces, the bases, and the banners, you can kind of cut corners on the rest. VG says cars, Gaslands will be fun. My son loves toy cars. Hoping to get into Gaslands one day. And his uncle is into scale modelling, so I don't think his kid will have a choice. That's it, mate. Peter says isn't Gaslands much like driving a horse? Claudia says, I like your new philosophy about views and community. I, for once, love the idea, and that's one of the reasons I support you. Thanks, mate. I really do appreciate that. It's exactly that kind of thing. That's why I've always said I'm not like a YouTuber. I'm not in this. I'm not in this to get tens of thousands of subscribers. I'm not in this to get tens of thousands of views on every video, because I know the stuff I want to make videos about won't do that. However, if I can find a community of people that are willing to support me in taking the time and effort to kind of give those lesser known games some kind of airtime, so they get to watch the things they're interested in that nobody else is doing, and this whole thing just works. And over time, hopefully, that will just grow organically, because there's people out there like these kind of companies who make these lesser known games, sell enough of those games to keep going. So it's not like there's nobody out there playing them. They're just kind of scattered around in pockets. And if I can try and pull them in a little bit and bring them into the kind of the BlackJack family, if you like, the whole thing is then self-sustainable. Scott's saying he's working on a sponsor for his new channel just for the unboxings, but doing the same as you and not paid unboxing. It's just for advertising for the shop. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I said before, if a shop wants to kind of sponsor the channel and stuff, I feel that's a little bit different. You can buy your minis wherever you want. I will always encourage you to buy your minis at your local kind of friendly local gaming shop. But if you don't, you buy them online. Then if there's a company that supports me, then you can kind of support me through supporting that company kind of thing. But not specifically game companies. I'm really kind of key on that one. Scott saying most of the channels I watch are predominantly GW, so automatically click off. Most are, mate, yeah. Tony saying, I find some channels will cover a game maybe once and move on. I like it when they stick with the game for a while, not to the exclusion of everything else. I think my plan is as I introduce games to the channel, I'll revisit them. It might be that, especially as I got more time on my hands now, it might be certain games get like I might do a little bit like what Ash Barker does, where you almost get like you play through a story of them, and you might get once every 2 weeks, or you might get one a month. Or whatever it is, but you get that progression of the story, and then basically as that portfolio of things fills up, you can go back and you can go, oh, there's a Gaslands thing here, or he's done a kind of like a 5-story race or something of Gaslands in a little playlist. I can go back and watch all 5. Or he's done, let's say, Rangers of Shadow Deep. He's done like a little solo campaign where he's gone through, and I can watch them all. So it's going to take a time to kind of build up that back catalogue of stuff. But essentially, I want to do the games I'm interested in. I want to do the games that you're interested in. And then if these companies want to kind of send me something to review or to unbox or to do a demo or whatever it is, and I enjoy it, then I'll keep playing it. If I don't enjoy it, I'll tell you I didn't enjoy it, and then you probably won't see it again. So yeah, we just got to keep doing that, really. Kevin said, I think you've explained it well. The variety and smaller, interesting stuff mixed with GW stuff is what I'm interested in, which gets your voice in my study room during the wee hours. Thanks, mate. It's kind of what I look for when I'm looking on YouTube, and I think that's important. I'm trying to produce the content that I want to watch, and I'm assuming by the fact that you're here and you supporting it, you want to watch it too. So as long as I'm producing the stuff I want to watch, then it'll be fun and interesting for me, kind of thing. King John says, really appreciate you and your channel. Being honest, I hate the Sword and Steel channel. A couple of girls reviewing GW stuff and showing some skin to attract viewers. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but I have my own thoughts about it. I mean, I think they've just broke through like 30,000 subscribers now, haven't they? There's some uncomfortable things on there that I do wonder about. Scott Sim just recorded the unboxing for Operation Red Veil and gave him a mention. Nice one, mate. Krabby says, the ideal scenario for me is to have people around me with a variety of hobby passions: terrain, trains, wargamers, Gundam. Yeah, that's the thing, mate. Yeah. I mean, no one person is going to kind of give you all of the kind of the stuff that you want to kind of like fill your hobby hole. That came out completely different as I expected it. No one person's going to kind of do that. But if you can find those few people that like kind of I watch a lot of other stuff on YouTube that's not hobby stuff, because actually I feel like I'm surrounded by it like a lot. It's nice to get my fix at doing other stuff. So I watch a lot of like filmmaking stuff. Like I absolutely love like Corridor Crew and like the things where they show about like sort of special effects, like and they show how they're made and all that kind of stuff. Like I love watching other stuff like that. I love watching things about like films and movies and stuff. I like watching. I think it's there's I forget what it is now, but there's a channel does like kind of like round table things where they have like famous actors talking about stuff, or they have like famous directors. I like to kind of put that kind of stuff on in the background when I'm sitting painting, and that just to almost, whilst I love to keep up to speed with like the hobby and what's going on, it's nice to kind of send my brain somewhere else while I'm kind of sitting painting and stuff. So yeah, you kind of find the difference. King Johnson, show some skin, Andy. Nobody wants to see my skin, my friend. Tony saying, Andy, love the diversity that both you and the community have. It's what I love and what draws me. It's what I love about the community as well, mate. Pomsey's still thinking about a train set one day. Paul said his mate lives in Margate. He's got a massive Hornby store. Wow. Scott said I watch a lot of model train scenery. Yeah, it's on a different level, some of that stuff, isn't it? Ben saying, keep doing the streams, mate. I'm going to get up at 5:30 next week and get my hobby in before work. Nice one, Ben, mate. That's the way to do it. Get your hobby in while you can. Right, folks, that went on about a bit longer than I expected, but yeah, I've had a good night. So, folks, thank you to every single one of you that's been in tonight. We've had some decent numbers again. I feel like we're getting like a nice kind of core audience that like to come in. We're getting a few new people coming in and stuff like that, but it's nice to kind of see the regular faces. It's also great as well to see you come across to the Facebook group or come across into the Patreon chat as well. Share what you've been painting tonight. It's always good, and it encourages other people to join the next chats as well. So if you're sharing your pictures anywhere else on social media, if you're going into certain groups, like feel free to say, you know, while I was watching the BlackJack Legacy live stream, it just helps me kind of get my name out there as well a little bit, and helps the channel helps the channel get the word out really. So yeah, Claudio's saying press that like button. Thanks, Claudio. So thanks everyone. I will see you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes to plan, there'll be a proper video on Friday. If not, it'll be Monday's live stream. And then this week's video I was going to do will come next week. It depends. I've got a little bit more painting to finish for it before I can film it. I'm looking at it over there, that's why. So yeah, hopefully I'll get all that done. But thanks, folks, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.